I never know when this actually goes live. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. Here we are.
This is Mark 64 of the Super Civil Servants podcast. My name is Greg, and it's very fitting that our episode today is not only covering but titled The Last Crusade, because as we know it now, the Super Civil Servants podcast is on their last crusade. Doesn't mean we're ending the show, just means we're moving forward into the next chapter of, I guess, life with the show. So
we've got a Kingdom of the Crystal Skull to come. Don't you worry.
Oh my gosh!
Definitely cover that one too. Oh yeah. But I got the whole crew here with me tonight, man. Like I said, we gotta have a bigger ship for this one. With me as always, my co-host Nathan. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great, but Greg's lying. Travis is not here, so he immediately lied to you guys right off the bat. So
it's still a full house.
If we lose listeners, I completely understand. No, I'm doing great.
Not having them anyway, you know. So. What's up, man? I'm
doing good. I'm ready to. Everybody else on the network got to talk about fandom, except for little old me over here. So I'm ready to get a couple, 2, 3 of my thoughts out there and see what you guys have got to say.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to hear them, man. Chris, how you doing, buddy? With us again?
Doing well. Just want to give a big shout out to Jack the King Kirby. His birthday today. Creator of many, many things that we know of. Fantastic Four, Uncanny X-Men, a little thing called the New Gods, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Big shout out. Sarah, what's up?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to see you guys. I'm super, tired. I've been out of town all week, but it's fun. It's fun. I'm ready to get back and jump back into fandom, too, because... yeah, I want to hear what Nathan has to say because, yes, I did get the geek out too. So
You should have been there, Nathan. You should have been there.
Well, Nathan always
all the cool kids were there.
Kind of stuff, well, I got family and stuff, you know. You know how it goes.
Oh yeah, we know how it goes.
You guys are like family be damned. I'm family man, so we get it. I get
it. And you heard her making her return tonight. Return to the gill strap. Katie, how are you doing?
No, not dealing with migraines much legally, so always positive. I'm glad to be here, and I had ice cream and I have bourbon, so good night.
There you go. Good combo.
Good combination. We've also got Lisa with us tonight. Lisa, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Excited to chat tonight. I don't have a drink with me, except I do have this nice bottle of Evian. I don't know.
That's a drink.
It's not quite the same, but I'm staying hydrated. It's 103 here, I think. So.
Yeah, probably a better idea.
Yeah, probably a better idea.
And we've also got Mr. Lastney with us tonight. Cody, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man? Super Civil Servants. I'm happy to be back on the show. I'm excited to be on. Finally finished some discussions that we started. And Nathan, you're not alone, my man. I have not had a chance to really rap with some fellow nerds about DC fandom either. So, yeah, man, I've got a lot of opinions, questions. Yeah, I'm just ready to talk to someone about it. So,
let's do it.
Thanks for having me on.
Dude, always, man. You're always welcome. And I wanted to point out, too, that we also have Eric, Legendary Bearded Geek, in the chat room right now. You guys can join us anytime. Chat room's live.
Hey, Eric.
Hop in here, give us some conversation, give us some talking points, talk about what we're talking about. I know me and Cody do the C3 Panthers podcast on Tuesdays, and the chat room is usually really full, and they provide a lot of stuff for us to get going with. So it's really, really fun. Be part of the show. Check us out. Mm-hmm. But without further ado, man, we every 4 weeks or 3.5 weeks, something like that, whenever we get Phil Froggy, we start to do a coverage of a movie. We're kind of trying to cover some older movies, and we started with the Indiana Jones series. Right now we are on Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, and we're going to talk about it because I watched this movie for the first time in a long, long time, and I really enjoyed it. But I can't start Indiana Jones out without starting with Chris. So, Mr. Balga, start us out with That's right. He's like the Jordan of Indiana Jones. Exactly. Start us out with some Indiana Jones talk, man. Last Crusade, buddy. I know you love it.
Love you all, too. Nothing but love. This has always been probably my favorite movie of all time. So much so, I've got the poster over here. You can't see it. I've got some action figures, and so much so, Grail Diary.
Nice.
Very nice. I love that.
Open it up for us.
Hey, you know what's funny?
I'm ready to go. Let's go. Let's go on this adventure right now.
I I got to ask you, Chris. I noticed that in the movie they were talking about the dog being named Indiana. Is that why you named your dog Indiana?
Yes.
Okay. Figured that was the case.
Very much so.
Figured that was the case.
That's how much of a fan I am.
Yeah.
And I think that was actually, I think I saw Indiana Jones Last Crusade first. That was the first Indiana Jones I ever saw, and ever since then I was hooked. And it's the movie I can always go back to. I begin my summer with watching that movie, and I end my summer watching that movie. I don't know why. I don't think I need to have a reason. I just like the movie that much. I'm so much of a super fan was when my wife and I went to Italy in a tour group when we went to Venice. I found that darn library, and I found that darn food stand that it's still there to this day, and it was so cool just being there. Heck, they even still talk about that movie there.
Wow.
Yes.
Do you have a picture of you in front of it?
I can definitely find one.
Okay. We need to see that posted on Twitter post haste, sir.
What's a
Twinner?
Yes.
What's a twinner?
Did I say Twitter?
Hey,
I meant
Greg.
Twitter.
Greg, that is so 2020 of you. Pictures or it didn't happen.
That's right.
Come on, we got to see it.
Well, I believe it.
I'm
I
sorry,
don't
Greg.
believe it.
I believe it. I just want to see.
I'm sorry, Greg. You rubbed off on me.
I will
Maybe,
find.
yeah.
I'll find. It'll take me a minute, but I'll have to find it when I jump off of here. But I'll send it to you, Greg.
Yeah.
But no, it's it's just it's Harrison Ford. You get Sean Connery as his dad. You're literally more globetrotting, but it's just I don't know what it's about it, but the script, the charisma, the just everything about every little part of this movie is spot on. It's so many great one-liners. I think one of my favorite was "I'm like a bad penny, I always turn up." I probably use that like once or twice a week. I like the little homages to the Raiders Lost Ark when he's down in the tunnels.
Yes,
that's cool. And they actually have, you listen for it, they actually have the Ark of the Covenant theme going on at that moment. X marks the spot. I mean, everything, and just the relationship between, Indiana and his dad. I mean, it's just it makes so much sense. Like, you don't even have to have any history. It's the first time we've ever known about his dad, and you can totally buy in that how this relationship went. I remember even owning like the computer video game of it, and the different things he had to do with it, the fighting. It was just I don't know. There's so much I can say about this movie. It's the way it ends with them riding off in the sunset. That's where it should have ended. Right there.
We'll say it did.
I think my favorite one of my favorite lines of the whole thing was when they realize Marcus has the map at that point, and he goes, "Oh, we'll find Marcus. He'll stick out like a sore thumb." He's already got a 2-day head start. And more than what he needs. He speaks a dozen languages, knows every local custom. He'll blend in, disappear. You'll never see him again.
He'll disappear.
He'll find any luck. He has the regret already. And there he is, wandering in the middle. Does anyone speak English? Does anyone?
Oh my God! I still laugh at that every single time I see it. I still laugh.
And then he admits it, saying, "Oh, I thought you had a 2-day head start. He'll blend in, disappear. Don't you? I made all that up. Don't you know? Marcus got once in his own museum."
Legendary Bearded Geek says, Eric says, "You sound like him with Ghostbusters." Ooh, Ghostbusters. That might be a movie series.
We can do that. Who are you going to call?
Yeah, Eric might have you on, buddy. That might be something to do.
Chris,
all right, I'll give someone some more time to geek out over it.
Well, Chris, I was going to say, like you said, like what makes this, I agree with you that I think this is my favorite of the three. And I believe it's Ford and Connery's just chemistry together. Like you said, I think like they just just those two together. You just want to see what they're doing on screen. You don't care what it is, if they're quipping back and forth, if they're running together, if they're you just don't care. You just like spending time with those two together, and they feel like they just. I don't know. I think they pull it off great because, like you said, we've never heard anything about his dad, and then we find out like he's been chasing the Holy Grail his whole life, and. You know what I mean? I don't know. I agree with this. Is my favorite one. I don't think it was the first one I saw, but I do believe this is the one I've seen the most out of all of them.
Okay. It's funny because I haven't seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull yet. So
no, that's not a bad thing.
I've only seen it once.
I wish I could say that.
For me, it's not tainted. Like as far as I understand,
is it a repeater,
it ended
Lisa?
with the sunset right off.
Have you seen it a bunch of times, Lisa? You said you wish you could say the same. Like I've only seen it.
No,
once.
I wish I could say that I haven't seen it.
Oh.
I have not seen it, so I'm not looking forward to watching it based on y'all's reviews of it. But Lisa, I want to hear your comments because you are a
Greg's gonna love it.
Indiana Jones fan too. Yeah.
Yeah, I am. It's no secret. I love Indiana Jones, and I think of this movie and Raiders as like one long movie. That's how it is in my mind. It's why I get it so out of order all the time when I talk about it. And this movie has kind of taken on different meaning over the years for me because the last time I saw it was in theaters with my dad. And I told him, like, right up until we were watching it, me and my friend Kara, that she's been on my show talking about the same movie, that, you know, Connery reminds us of our parents and just like how frustrating they are to travel with sometimes. Sorry, Dad. And just that dynamic. And I told my dad that, and I was like, hey, let's go see it on Father's Day. And like, isn't that kind of funny? That dynamic, you know, kind of reminds me of you. And he kind of got a little like huffy, and he goes, well, it reminds me of traveling with my mom. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's see, it's the same. You can't recognize it in your own relationship, but you can recognize it. Yeah. But so now I think about it that way, and I just think it's such perfect casting, like having, you know, Connery play that role, because, you know, the movies are sort of James Bond influenced, and he is James Bond, but it's funny because he's like a dolty dad. I don't know, you just can't get any more perfect than that. It's just really fun, and it's a great plot, and yeah, I could keep going, but I'll wait till we, you know, break
that
down.
little pathetic slap he gives him when he says Jesus Christ, like that's still hilarious. And the little kid on the motorcycle, because it's like he's so offended, but it's like the littlest pathetic slap ever.
Yeah, he's not quite the rough and tumble.
Yeah, exactly.
That Indy is.
What did you think, Sarah?
Oh yeah, I absolutely love this movie. Out of all of them, I mean, this is my absolute favorite. I just love the story. I could just sit and watch it over and over, because anytime, you know, you're dealing with, you know, the Holy Grail, searching for that, and it's just fun to watch and to follow. And I just love the relationship, because, you know, you're so used to Indy being this real tough dude, and, you know, nothing really gets under his skin, but then how you have his dad going, Junior. But I think my favorite scene of that whole movie is when his dad actually sees him for who he is. Instead of calling him Junior, he's like, Indiana.
Yeah.
Indiana. And, you know, it took a while for me to, and I don't know why it is that particular scene, but it's like, you know, you go through life, and you seem like, especially in his situation, you're always kind of under the shadow of your father, especially, you know, if he did something that you did. And for him to, you know, finally recognize you for who you are and what you've accomplished, I mean, that speaks volumes too. But man, I tell you, the very first time I saw this movie, like towards the one scene in the end, I'm thinking, oh, that cannot happen. It cannot happen. But then I'm like, it's Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
He knows which is which. I have no.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So I just love. I mean, it's one of those movies that comes on. I don't care when or where, and at what point. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it till finish.
It's like Forrest Gump for me. Yep, I hear you. Doesn't matter. Or Apollo 13. Don't know why. When those movies are on, I'm gonna watch them.
Tom Hanks.
I was gonna say, it just sounds like any Tom Hanks vehicle. Greg's leaving the TV on.
Yeah. And you know what, Katie, I saved you for last for two reasons. One, because it's your comeback, and two, because you got to defend your comment here in the chat room. And I want you to read it out, so that way you can. Cause I don't
Let me hear it. Let me hear this.
So Ghostbusters and Eric saying he Chris sounds like him with Ghostbusters. I said, is it heresy to say I hated Ghostbusters and loved the Crystal Skull?
That's the
Shots fired,
definitely got to be.
That fits Katie, because she's the one who also says that she loves the Daredevil movie over the Netflix show. It just fits. You broke the mold when they made you, Katie.
I respect that. I respect that so much. You don't go with the crowd.
We were going to announce it later on, but this will be the last time Katie and I do any podcast together. Star Wars Alliance is officially breaking up, and it's been real and it's been fun.
Nathan!
Wait.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
Nathan.
Sorry.
I love a good controversial opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and I think everything's so interesting because if everybody agreed, I mean, it'd be no fun. So, I mean, everybody's going to have a agree.
Yeah, I dropped my review for Ghostbusters in the chat, but to save a long story short, Greg?
When you say Ghostbusters, are you talking about the new Ghostbusters movie or the OG Ghostbusters?
The OG.
Okay, I'm just
long story short.
I don't think for people now, the old one ages well. I don't think that if you grew up with it, I think it's totally different from just now seeing it.
Well, in the immortal words of
the expectation that you're supposed to feel a certain way when you watch it. Like, I love Ghostbusters, but I don't know what it's like to watch it right now for the first time.
I get that.
Yeah, that's true.
I watched it. I published this review in June 2019, and I'll read the last paragraph. I said, overall, I get it's a cultural phenomenon. I just don't see it myself. The Ghostbusters are fairly annoying, and it's clearly a product of its time. The plot wanders around aimlessly, trying to figure out where it wants to go, and it drags with certain jumps in the middle. Like one of those runs on the treadmill where you walk for long periods and then sprint for 10 to 20 seconds.
Hey.
Oh my gosh.
It's a decent movie.
That's a great analogy, though. Like, just
damn it.
It's hard to hear.
That is true.
It's painful, Katie.
And a lot of these movies are like that. They are a product of their time. So, I mean, there's a lot of movies that I watch, and, I've made no bones about it, especially like Bill and Ted. I mean, it's a movie of its time. I mean, sometimes, for me, it's nostalgic. So I go back and I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that. But if I think somebody now, this, day and age might be like, that's kind of stupid. Like, these dudes, yeah, whatever.
Well, and I'll finish this. I said, don't get me wrong, it's a decent movie, but coming at it 35 years later, this is not a standout movie. Groundhog Day is far more unique in and of itself. Ooh. ...
Well,
I've heard some reviews like yours, Katie, honestly, like about Ghostbusters and how they don't feel it ages great and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's hard for me to see that growing up with it the way I did, feeling the way I do about the cast. But you're definitely not alone. I've heard that before, so.
Yay!
It's an interesting take because you're right. If you didn't grow up like with it at that point, I love a lot of movies. At that point, if I've done the same thing with my wife. My wife had never seen Ghostbusters, and she has the same kind of opinion as you, Katie. Is yeah, whatever.
I was watching Indiana Jones last night, and my wife came home right as it started, and she was looking at it. She was like, "Really, you're watching Indiana Jones?" She recognized it right away, but she was like, she actually said, "This movie doesn't age well." Just looking at it, I mean, just her opinion, of course, but she was looking at it. She was like, I can tell this is an old movie, and I was like, "Well, of course you can tell it's an old movie. It's an old movie. If you take that into consideration, then you can give it a little bit of standard." But I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. Lisa, it's a great point. Seeing it then and growing up with it being something that's part of your life, being very nostalgic, and seeing it now for the first time, you probably do have a completely different opinion on what the movie is. So,
no, as Ray Parker Jr. says in the song, "Busted makes me feel good, and it's always gonna make me feel good." Because I fucking love those goddamn movies. I love them. I know it. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you got Bill Murray as the heartthrob. Like, really? Let's really think about this. Like, he is the quote ladies' man at this. Like, okay, we're watching Indiana Jones, and you got Harrison Ford.
Receding hairline and all.
Ford, yeah, like as the ladies, and you look around, and you go, even us guys are like, yeah, Harrison Ford, we get it. He's the ladies' man. You go to Ghostbusters and you see Bill Murray and you go, like, what? Really? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
hey. And he's kind of a jerk.
Like, that makes you feel good about yourself. Bill Murray, I can be out there.
I still think his best movie is Stripes. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, Stripes is so good.
Best movie. I love Stripes. That's one of those other ones.
My wife loves that movie.
I'm watching the whole thing. It's way too long.
Oh, my wife loves that movie.
It's way too long, but it's a really good movie. Yeah.
I have Stripes, but Groundhog Day is my favorite movie of his.
Yes.
Like,
I saw Groundhog Day.
That's a great choice.
It's
a good movie.
It's a good movie too. Yep.
If you like that, you should watch Palm Springs.
Yes.
Palm Springs. Yes.
So good.
Like that, you should watch the behind-the-scenes video of Charlie's Angels where he fist fought Lucy Liu, because that was a fucking doozy when they made that movie. No, that's a true story. You guys laugh like I'm joking. That's a true story. Look that shit up.
He's not easy to. He's not easy to be in a movie with.
No, he's an a-hole. Yeah. Like, he is an a-hole through and through.
That's why he plays the character so well, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Right. I wonder if that's why he got thrown out the window in the girls' version.
Probably. You know what? You're probably right.
All right, let me write this down. 20 minutes in, first squirrel in. All right.
That's a squirrel.
That was a huge squirrel. That was a big old.
That's a good one to chase down, though.
That's right.
Hey, welcome. That's what I'm famous for here.
Right.
So.
There you go.
Yeah, we like it here. But we were asking, what's your overall thoughts about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? There.
This is my favorite. This is ultimately my favorite movie. I didn't get a chance to rewatch it before the podcast, but of the Indiana Jones movies, this is definitely the best. Sean Connery kills it, and I love the dynamic between Harrison Ford and Sean Connery. Good. We have an episode of Star Wars Alliance to record on.
We can be friends again. Okay.
But of the 4 movies, this is definitely number 1. So okay. I love it. I love the concept. Just it's always fun to see Indiana Jones get down into the archaeology aspect. And the Holy Grail is kind of one of those big myths that you hear a lot about, but you don't ever get a resolution to. And so this was a neat exploration of that myth.
Yeah, I got to follow you up there. I think that I haven't seen any of these movies in literally more than 2 decades at least. And so I couldn't really remember which one I liked the most. I didn't remember a whole lot about them. I know I enjoyed them, but it wasn't something I loved when I was younger. Watching all 3 of these now in the last few months, this is definitely the best one. I agree. It's a really, really good story. So the timeline goes 1, 3, 2, correct?
2, 1, 3.
2, 1, 3, yeah.
Okay. So 2 is actually the earliest in timeline, and then it goes from there. Okay, gotcha.
And if you want to talk about best to worst, you go 3, 1, 2, 4. So I mean, like that's just how it goes.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like that's about right. It does. Even though I enjoyed number 2, I really did.
Me too.
But yeah,
I still enjoy it.
Even a bad Indiana Jones movie is better than some of the best movies in other franchises. Okay.
Like Mr. Snell says, like pizza. Even bad pizza is still pizza. That's the way to do it.
It's true.
Yeah, but I enjoyed the rewatch. I watched all but the last 30 minutes last night because it was 2 o'clock in the morning and I had to get up and go to work. So 2 o'clock's my cutoff point usually. And then so I watched the last 30 minutes when I go home from work. So I'm really fresh with the last 30 minutes. I enjoyed it. It blows my mind how Sean Connery had no hair in this movie, but The Rock came out in 1996 and he has this gorgeous mane of hair. And I mean, I know it's probably a wig.
Just for Men became popular in between that.
Maybe. I know it's a wig, but they cut it. And if they cut it, and that buzz cut that he has in the movie is real, man, I want to know what he's on. Seriously. I can't afford it, but I want to know what he's on because I need that.
Your cutoff time is when I get up for work.
Right.
Because that ain't that. Right. You're going to sleep, and I'm literally getting up for work at 2 a.m.
I just need 5 solid hours, man. 5 solid hours of sleep, and I'm good.
Me too.
I'm good.
I get it.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. It was cool to go back and see it again. Like I said, my wife came home right when I started watching it, and of course, she picked on it when she first started watching it. It was like, oh, you can tell how old this movie is, blah, blah. But then we got about 30, 40 minutes into it, and I kind of just peeked over at her, and she's just
glued.
Right into it, man. Eyes glued to the screen. I was like, yeah. I wasn't going to say nothing. I was like, okay, you enjoy it. You enjoy it. It brings you back that childhood feeling. That's kind of, so. But, all right, cool. So that's kind of overall thoughts. Y'all give me
Wait. I was going to say, I just want to point out one more time that I really like. I laughed out loud again because I haven't watched this movie in a couple years. But whenever he throws the guy out, when he's dressed up, he takes that suit and he's got the jacket. It's clearly too small on the blimp. And he throws the guy out the window and he goes, didn't have his ticket. And everybody pulls their tickets up. I literally laughed out loud again. It's been a while since I see it. I was like, oh my God. It was like a first time again. I was dying.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Well, here, y'all just go on. Whoever wants to take the mic, go ahead. Just stuff you loved about this movie. We'll go with stuff you loved, and then we'll see if there's anything anybody didn't like after that. I'm not sure there's probably not a whole lot, but...
Sean Connery shooting the tail wing out after the blimp scene, and then him like, we're hit, Junior, on us, or whatever he says. I'm like, come on. That was hilarious, because he's just firing that guy. I don't know. This movie's just great, okay? It's just great. And like I said, I'll stick to that Sean Connery and Harrison Ford, their chemistry together makes this movie the best one of the bunch. Just the way they play off each other. And like what I think Lisa was saying, like Sean Connery just feels like a dad here. Like he feels like your dad. You know what I mean? Like that's a great way to put it. He just, I just really like it. Like it's definitely the best on the bunch.
And he's only like 9 years older than.
Yeah, right. Right.
That is pretty crazy.
Which is humbling for him, I'm sure. But movie magic.
Wow, that's like 9 years older? Because they look about 30 years apart in this movie.
I mean, that's what happens when you're Harrison Ford and your co-star is, you know.
Yes.
Sean Connery. Yeah, I guess good point. Good point.
As Indy says in Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's not the years, it's the mileage.
True.
This is true.
It's like fine wine.
Yes, he did.
One of the things that I really liked about this is how they kind of developed the father-son dynamic, especially with that opening scene, because you hear a little bit about the relationship in the other two movies, and maybe that's explored further in the TV show, I don't know. But just kind of that development of a father-son relationship, it doesn't feel like a new thing. And Harrison make it feel like I've been doing this for the lifetime of Harrison Ford. Like it's very real. Like it doesn't feel fake. So that's something that I just wanted to highlight because that's a very important part of this movie, obviously, and they both do a really good job pulling it off.
What about you, Chris? What's a scene you love in this movie, or something you love about this movie? I know you've already given kind of an overview of some things you do, but like, what's
loves it all.
Yeah, I know you love it all.
He presses play and when the credits roll. That's his scene. That's the scene he loves.
I mean, it's funny you mentioned the end credits. That's when I'm sad it's over. It's just them going on to the sunset. Oh, this is so good. Why does it have to end? The adventure should continue. And then I my own words.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I said I was good word at it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't want another one. I just wanted I have the Indiana Jones Chronicles. I can go back in time.
Number 5 is Search for Social Security. What's up?
I would say another favorite scene is when he busts through the window and meet father for the first time, and they get in a little argument because they're asking for the Grail diary, and he said, "Oh, you joke? You think my son would bring it all back here?" And he just realized that you did. I should have mailed it to the Marx Brothers. And they get into this fight and said, "Take it easy. Why do you think I sent it home in the first place?" And he said, "I came here to save you. Who's going to save you now?" Junior takes the gun and shoots everyone. He's like, well, "Look what you did. I can't believe what you did." And then when they're tied, he says, "How did you know she was a Nazi?" "She talks in her sleep."
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool too. They look at each other. Yeah, that is pretty good.
I didn't trust him. Why did you?
No. I think one of the moments that stands out in my mind that I thought was really cool. I love the entire tank scene moment because even knowing how it ends, like I said, it's been like 20 years since I've seen this movie. I still knew how it ended, but like rewatching it earlier, I'm like at the edge of my seat. I'm like in suspense, like, oh, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? And to know that kind of stuff, it's like BVS for me. Like to know that kind of stuff and then still be excited about what might possibly happen next means it's a great movie. Because I've already seen it. I know in the end the good guy's gonna win 99% of the time anyway. But it's just cool to see that. It's cool to have that feeling again. The nostalgia bug really kicked in, and in that scene specifically for me today. Specifically.
I love that they brought Gimli back. I can't remember the actor's name, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yes!
You know who I'm talking. Yeah, Gimli come back. I love him in there because he was fun in Raiders.
Wait, which one was Gimli?
Saul? Yourself?
Yes.
Saul?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. John Rhys Davies.
Yeah.
Ooh, I have one question about this movie. So they get down to the tomb, right, of I can't remember which knight it was, whichever king it was, where they get the second part of the scripture to be able to find out where the Grail is, or to.
Yeah.
So he scribbles it on he not scribbles it, but he kind of imprints it on the paper, right?
Shades it.
Yeah. Puts the paper in his pocket.
Yeah.
Then they go underwater to get in the boat.
Sure. Sure.
Like I'm just wondering. I don't know how that works.
It's really good lead.
With
really good lead.
That's all I'm wondering.
Really good lead.
I was like, wait a second.
You're right.
Wax paper.
Wax paper.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's.
I think they do use a. They use a special paper for tombstone, rubbing or whatever. So
I'll buy it. I will buy it. Chris is the master of the Jones franchise. He says that. I immediately go with it, I guess.
I believe it.
Wax paper. Gotcha.
Okay. So I know everybody here has seen Big Bang Theory, right? At least some of it.
Yes.
What's the argument they have on Big Bang Theory about about Indiana Jones not being relevant in this movie? Is it true?
Oh, because in this movie in the first movie when they finally open up the chest, everyone dies. So really, Indiana Jones didn't have to be there because the second the Nazis opened it, they would have all died.
Yeah.
And then similarly in this movie, if you drink the wrong cup, you die, and they did that. So nothing would have happened to the Holy Grail.
Okay. That argument makes sense.
It's a hilarious observation, but like nothing can change my mind about
every time I think about Big Bang Theory and Indiana Jones, I think of the song Thor and Dr. Jones. Because that shit cracks me up when they were saying that.
I might open the show with that. That's a great idea. I might open the show with that today. But yeah, so okay, that was one thing that I didn't like was, like I said, the paper thing. But of course, it's one thing I just got to look over. There was something else that I saw when I was watching today, and I was like, yeah, I don't see that happening. I can't remember what it was now, so it must not have been that big of a deal. But I had to kind of be like, I don't know about that. But I can't
Is it though? Is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it couldn't have been that big. So
like we're talking about, it's a little bit of its age. We gotta let it slide, guys. Like I don't care. I love it anyway, and I'll watch it flaws and all.
Well, one thing I liked, and I thought was cute, was just at the very beginning when you had the young River Phoenix as the young Indiana Jones, and when he smacked himself in the chin with the bullwhip.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a cool way of kind of explaining that scar. I mean, I know it's a minute detail, but I just thought that was kind of cool.
I don't know if I needed the origin story of the scar on the Harrison Ford's chin, but it is cool.
I mean, you get the hat in detail too, the whip. Yeah, I like it.
Plus, it lays out for that cross that he was looking for at first. It's
right.
It's important.
Hey, you gotta love him behind the scenes when that tank sequence when he's on the horse. The biggest problem they had was that darn hat flying off at that point. So he took a stapler and stapled it to his head.
That might have been what my problem was because I was watching him ride and I was like, "How is this hat not flying off?" Because he wasn't holding it.
Oh yeah.
And he was riding pretty fast. That might have been my problem.
All right, done.
When you say stapled it on, how did he staple it on to his head?
Like to the scalp?
Yeah, just
like actual staples in his head?
I think that's the urban legend, but I definitely remember seeing footage.
Did you just lie to us, Chris?
Of taking.
I believe you unequivocally when it comes to Jones.
It may be one of those urban legends where it was empty at that point, but I've seen footage where he has taken that and that sequence because it kept on flying off. He's getting so frustrated. He's like, "Give me that!" There, shoot the scene.
Wow.
Ouch.
Wow. Lisa,
seems like Spirit Gun would have been better.
Harrison Ford is even more hardcore than I thought.
Yeah. So it is an urban legend.
According I thought so.
to Indiana Jones Wiki, it said, in jest, Ford put a stapler against his head when a documentary crew visited during shooting of Last Crusade. This created the urban legend that Ford stapled the hat to his head as the fedora continued to stay on his hat in further shootings.
Gotcha, Chris.
See? There we go. At least I called it out. It's probably an urban legend.
You did.
And Katie is the dream killer.
Yeah, Katie.
Reality strikes.
That's right.
How about you like? Remember that? I always laugh at the end of the tank sequence where you see the head honcho Nazi go down, but it's so bad. Like the dummy they have, you literally just see that dummy just like, oh, that's not even real. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Very true. I like the scene that Sarah was talking about earlier about when he finally. When his father finally calls him Indiana, but then he also says, "Let it go," and like I don't know why, but like I tear up at that line because he spent his whole life searching for that, but then when it comes to his son, I mean, he knows what's more important. I mean, he kind of abandoned his son to look for that thing, but it proves at the very end that he truly loves him, and so I don't know. I always get a little weepy at that part.
Yeah. I have a question. Indiana Jones is, like, in the first two movies, hysterically scared of snakes, right?
Mm.
But in this movie, as a child, he's obviously not. Because he even says to the kid, oh, it's just a snake, and picks it up and tosses it. He's a snake in his britches.
Oh,
he
that's
falls
one
into
snake.
Yeah, that's one snake.
He was traumatized. I think it was the birth of his fear.
So that's what it was.
Yeah.
You think that might have been the birth of the fear right there?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I thought that might have been what they were
Fell
setting
into
up
a
for.
huge thing of snakes at that
Okay.
point.
And his dad.
I don't like
that.
spiders, but if I was in a room of them, I think I would be traumatized.
Makes sense.
Burn it down.
Put me in a room full of bats, and I'll become the Batman.
Yes. Or you'll have a lot of bites.
That's right.
Not a guano.
Radio.
One of the two. All right. Is there anything anybody didn't like about this movie? Any scenes you pointed out? Like I said, I had one that kind of I saw and I was like, I don't know about that. But other than that, there's not a lot in this movie that I saw that I didn't enjoy. You're right. It's very well written. Sean Connery does a great job. I kept waiting for him to say, "Welcome to the Rock." You know, like, but it just never happened. Of course, that was like 20 years later, or actually like 7 or 8 years later, so it wasn't that bad.
Or Bond, James Bond. You know, there's that.
Yeah, exactly. But
I need to watch the
wasn't Sean
Bond.
Connery? Wasn't Connery like the last Bond that smoked on film?
I don't know. You got
Can't
me
answer that. Not confident enough in my Bond knowledge.
I'm not confident enough either. Maybe I don't know, but I know it was around that era.
Is it okay to...
I was planning to do a rewatch when, whenever No Time to Die comes, and let's go.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I need to actually. That would be a great series to cover on here. Is all the Bond movies.
Yeah.
That would cover like an entire 2 years, right?
Yeah, it would take a long time.
Easily.
That would be a while.
We could just do the Daniel Craig series.
Yeah, just pick a Bond and roll
No,
with it.
you got to put Pierce Brosnan in there too, because GoldenEye was.
Come on,
Dude,
GoldenEye was great.
I think it's Sean Connery.
There's a Kingdom
You have to add
of
Timothy Dalton.
Skull movie. Die Another Day. Ooh.
Yeah.
And he plainly admits that they were drunk half the time filming that movie.
See, that's what I'm saying. Let's go
That
with Daniel
song,
Craig.
too.
Oh,
That Madonna song.
Oh God, yuck! Why'd you remind me?
I guess I'll die another day.
Yeah.
It's not my time to go.
Oh yeah, every time I see the movie, I die a little inside.
Don't watch that movie anymore, Chris. We need you.
Come on,
The
man!
world
Casino
needs you.
Royale is one of the best movies all around.
Casino
It happens
Royale
to
is
be a
great.
Bond movie.
Yeah.
That movie's just great on its own, but then it's a Bond movie on top of it. It's just like, bravo, let's do that again.
Yeah, I agree.
HBO Max is supposed to be releasing a longer, like more violent cut. They said. I swear,
Oh,
I
really?
remember hearing that. Like HBO Max is going to do that.
It's like 30 seconds. It's a
Well,
cut. I think
damn it.
I have to remember who was it? It was, man, I want to say it was Tim Gannon.
Yeah.
On Twitter. Someone had called because someone had posted. I put it out there. I think he or someone else had said that it's not as much as you think. It's like 30 seconds.
Well, gosh dang it! Never mind. Forget what I said. Blow it up.
That's exactly how I felt after I tweeted out. Said, this is gonna be awesome.
Damn it!
No, it's not.
So it's
Well,
like
yeah.
the extended cut of Green Lantern. You really don't notice it. Type deal.
Just like
Greg.
the movie. Hey.
Oh, I
But,
felt that one
notice it.
right in the mommy and daddy button there, Chris. Yeah, but I blew everybody's mind with that one, didn't I? That was a virtual-
I don't think I've heard that before.
Virtual. What? You never seen Austin Powers? That's the mommy. and daddy.
Well, oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
We're not covering.
you don't
Austin
sound like
Powers.
Austin Powers. Maybe that's it.
That's probably it. You're right.
I watched all 3 Austin Powers movies on a sleepover when I was like 12.
Mhm.
What?
And yeah, and I came home and my mom was pissed because I was like, I watched Austin Powers. She's like, you let her watch Austin Powers?
Yeah, my daughter's 13. She's not
Like
watching
the
Austin
hell?
In your
Powers.
family, I can see it definitely, but
Nathan talks like he's met your family. Oh, of course, I know your family.
well,
I can definitely
okay.
see
I
that.
just hear what Katie tells me. I hear what Katie tells me.
Hey. Well, yeah, I know y'all got that Star Wars Alliance podcast thing. I don't know what y'all talk about behind the scenes. So
Let's let the next movie we cover be Top Gun, okay? Because we're about to gear up for the next version of Top Gun, and I
That
can't
would be
wait
fun.
for that.
that would be fun. We have so many possibilities with just Nate.
Well, I do like the Bond idea. Actually, I really do. As long as we can do Daniel Craig, he's like he is the best, and like
And a lot of
He's
them
got
are on
the
Amazon
longest.
Prime. I know because we were
Yeah.
watching them on there.
oh,
We're
nice.
gonna get
Yeah.
through Power Rangers.
Okay.
Never.
Hey, I'll
not
always
even,
Gonna be
like-
pushed to the back burner.
not even on Power Rangers Day.
We can do a Power Rangers watch along. I don't even give it. Let's do it. We'll just the whole podcast. It's just a commentary on Power Rangers.
The OG Power.
The OG?
Rangers. Live news. Yes.
Well, sure.
I've never seen I've only seen the new Power Rangers.
Not gonna
I don't think I've ever watched one episode or movie of Power Rangers in my
really?
life.
Was it past your time?
One day.
Yeah, I was like at the cutoff. I was sort of being a little too old for it when it came out.
So you're like 27 now then?
Like you're my
I know.
So, like, I must have just
I don't know. I felt like it was like that and Pokemon were just a little bit too young for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I was like a brooding teenager, probably.
I can honestly say
it would be perfect for you.
I remember getting picked on the bus for liking Power Rangers. Go on the way to school.
Well, I would have picked on you too. I mean, look at you.
So
Man, that Saber Zord, that's my.
All right, well, we've strayed way
off.
Like,
I don't know what the hell happened.
Does anybody have
Squirrel,
we
dusty trail.
Yeah.
Both of them.
It's fire escape.
Well, does anybody else have anything else to say about Indiana Jones?
Love
Points
it.
you want to bring up?
Yes. I will second that, Nathan.
2 thumbs up.
Can't wait for Crystal Skull, right?
No.
Can't wait for Crystal Skull.
I can't.
Every time you say there's 4 movies, I'm like, no, there's 3.
No.
Well, like I said, I haven't seen it yet, so Katie, I might be on your side. We'll see.
I blame George Lucas for this movie. That movie, I do. Because that's unfortunately this is his fault. This movie.
The second the fridge scene happens, I went, uh-oh.
Let's
we're going there.
Let's just watch Howard the Duck next. Let's just watch every Lucasfilm production. Every Lucasfilm production. We'll go Howard the Duck's next.
You just want to see duck breasts, don't you?
Just duck boobies.
Duck boobies. I say we go crazy and watch like Spaceballs next. You know,
let's at that point. Let's just watch. If you're gonna go crazy, go watch The Room. There's a movie you can make fun of badly.
It's hard to sit through, but you're right.
All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up some Indiana Jones then. I know a few wanted to get off, but do y'all want to stick around for some DC talk, or do y'all want to go ahead and head out of here? I gotta
head out.
You gotta head out?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
I head out too.
Well, everybody that's gotta head out, go ahead and sign out. Just Chris, you said yes, so Chris, where can they find you?
Bye, guys.
Hey, you can find me on Twitter at Chris Balga. You got the show World's Finest True Believers. You know, this week we had we had our missing cohort. Injustice Year 2. Yes, it's been a long week. So Justice Year 2 with our buddy Travis Hines, and the retro episode this week is a guy you all know and love, and you know he used to have red hair and doesn't anymore. That'd be Greg. His first time on the show is dropping on Monday.
Is it really?
It's you, bud.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that one was dropping on Monday. Okay, that's cool.
Look, he didn't get
on
the
Monday.
I know I've been on 3 times, so okay, that one goes way back. Okay, cool.
This is your first time.
Way back.
Everyone remembers their first.
That's right.
Pop cherry.
Everybody remembers that. Right.
But yeah, we
my.
It's got awfully hot, awfully fast. Jeez. Woo.
The retro.
Nathan, you've been a bad influence on Katie.
Yeah. This show has changed. It's become R-rated.
It's grown up. That's what it is. It's become mature.
But yeah, we are looking at the retro show. Looking at Identity Crisis, the controversial book. Brad Meltzer.
I can't wait to hear myself talk. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
No, that was a really fun time.
It'll be followed by your newest one.
I can't wait for you to argue with yourself.
So you're doing Identity Crisis and then White Knight?
Yes, it'll be followed by White Knight.
Nice. I like that.
That just happened. Travis had to be planned. Yours just actually happened.
Nice. Must have the right way.
Yep, and Marvel Alliance on Wednesday. We'll definitely be talking a lot.
This guy just talk.
New Mutants Wednesday. I can't wait to hear it. I might try to watch that this weekend somehow or another. We'll see.
I'm going to listen to your review. Are you going to see it?
No, I'm not going to go see it, but we have a lot of controversy to talk about with all the stuff that just came out today.
Well, I saw Maisie Williams put something down. I'll save that for you guys to talk with. That was hilarious.
The creator of it kind of railed on it, and then I believe Vulture put out a pretty much what happened to New Mutants expose.
So I can't wait for Marvel Alliance to learn more.
Well, that's the way I feel every week. Oh, Marvel Alliance! Can't wait for Wednesday to come. I'm telling you, good stuff.
We don't have fandom, but gosh darn it, we got a bad. Hey.
Right. Whatever. Katie and I got stuff to talk about on Star Wars this week. Whatever. There's rumors and stuff.
Nice. So, I love rumors.
You know.
Rumor has it.
Well, speaking of Katie, you got to get out of here too.
Yeah, I've watched Umbrella Academy, and I need some sleep.
I hear you. Where can they find you?
Understandable.
So you can find me. My personal Twitter is @KGirlstrap13. You can find me also on the Slice of Film Twitter, where Sarah and I just covered Twilight and New Moon.
It was awesome.
With, of course, which is starred in by the Batman himself, Robert Pattinson.
He was a man bat.
Man bat.
That's right. He was a man bat.
Yeah, I was gonna say a sparkling Batman.
And I did just put out a poll because I am curious if people would be interested in seeing that show go every week, because right now it's currently bi-weekly.
Yes.
So if you're interested in that, hearing me talk more about movies.
She's going to shelve Star Wars Alliance, guys. We didn't want to tell you yet, so I'm officially off the network. She's shelving it. And it's been nice seeing you. It's been nice knowing you,
Nathan.
No.
I could never shelve Star Wars Alliance. Star Wars is my first love. Let's be real. Sorry, Matt.
I was going to say, still mad about that?
Whoa.
But then you can also find me on the Star Wars Alliance podcast. Oh, wait. Slice of Films is Slice of Film 1. Because that's important. Right. Star Wars Alliance is Star Wars Alliance without the A in the wars. And that's me and Nathan bi-weekly. And next week we are talking about our top 10 favorite Star Wars characters. And hopefully some Mandalorian trailer, if we're lucky. But
a little bit of Mando action.
And there's also been a couple rumors go around that I want to get Katie's thoughts and opinions on.
Did you hear
rumors, video games, we got it all.
Oh, yeah.
Squadrons. I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
All right. Let's see. My favorite cosplayer right here, Miss Lisa. How are you doing? Are you? Where can they find you? You got to get out of here, right?
Yep. Right. Thank you for having me, though.
Yeah.
And thank you for the compliment.
Oh yeah. Hey, your Spider-Man outfit you got the other day that you posted. Amazing.
Yeah, that was cool.
Loved it.
Yeah, I got that really from I think it's called Heroes Time, and just kind of, I guess, a quick ad for them, even though I'm not like sponsored or anything, but they do really good work, and you can like even pay for like zippers in the wrists. And in the calves, and you can pay a little bit more, and it's like better fabric. Like they have all these options, and so you'll pay more than you see like on eBay or something, but you get a way better product. Okay. I even had them put shoes in there because some of the Spider-Man costumes you get, they're just like socks, and so like when you go to a con, you're like, I guess I have to wear tennis shoes, So this way, like it has shoes built in. So it was a really good product.
Where can I find you at?
Yeah, you can find me pretty much wherever you listen to podcasts. It's called I Love That Movie, and you can find me on Twitter at ILTM podcast, and then you can find me at I Love That Movie podcast on Instagram. And yeah, come say hey.
Definitely. Fun follow, and you're always putting stuff out there that's awesome to see. Like I love trying to figure out what you're going to do your cosplay next. It's really fun. I think is either Batwoman or Batgirl. I can't remember. You did.
Oh yeah, I want to do the Arkham games Batgirl.
Yeah. Looked amazing. Loved it.
Yeah, that mask is looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Tiger Stone effects, and you pay more. It takes about 6 weeks, but it's a really good product. Like very thick cast, of silicone, I guess that it's made out, but it's really, really nice.
Every time I see you put a picture out of it, no matter what character doing it, I'm always like, look at that. That's awesome. Like,
that's so nice.
I have
to shout out to my husband for sure, Nick. He has a Wardco props because he a lot of those costumes wouldn't even get made if he wouldn't help me figure it out.
Right.
Definitely.
Well, you guys, the team, do a good job.
Yeah. It worked out for both of us. We like each other and we can cosplay together. So.
Right.
Sounds like a good combination. I like it.
All right.
Well, for y'all getting off, thank you so much. I'm sure I'll talk to y'all probably later tonight. Have a good day.
Peace.
Bye.
All right.
All right, and now we got the 4 that are left. Me, Sarah, Nathan, and Cody right now. Travis might come on a little later, but Cody, man, you've been sitting here quiet for 49 minutes, which I commend. I told you could hop on anytime you want to, but you wanted to listen to us go live. So 49 minutes, man. What's up, buddy? I haven't heard you talking forever.
Yeah, no, man. I'm just chilling. I was enjoying the conversation, listening in. I didn't want to interrupt the flow, but when I was talking about the Power Rangers thing, dude, that was my childhood, bro.
Oh, yeah.
There wasn't I was either always the Red Ranger or I was a Ninja Turtle every Halloween.
Nice.
Either one, fluctuate between the two. So,
That's I know. Friends.
Yeah, and that's how I loved me some Power Rangers, man. So they've got a special place in my heart. But yeah, man, no, I'm just happy to come and chill with y'all, man, and hang out and talk about Umbrella Academy. I guess I told you I had to do some refreshing because it's been a while now since I've seen this. But yeah, I wanted to talk some DC with y'all too. I'm just here to follow the leader, man. You tell me what you want me to talk about, and I'll talk about it.
Dude, you fit right in. There's no leader. We're like a circus here, man. We just go all over the place. So.
Right, you saw how it is.
That's right.
We go here, we go there, we go there. You know, when we talking about DC, we may end up talking about, you know what I mean, Harry Potter all of a sudden. Like by the end of it, we're going, how the hell did we get here?
Oh yeah, hey, we'll break down the ins and outs of the Teletubbies if we
Hey, you know what?
You know what I mean? Like, we'll fall into something dumb. I hear you, man. I'm about it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Since we're waiting to see if Travis can get on, I told him I'd wait as long as I could. The only thing he left he could talk about is DC fandom. So let's talk about some Umbrella Academy. I know Nathan, you haven't seen it. Did you try to get a hold of him? But Nathan, you don't mind. Well, he's on a date. So he's having a date night. So I don't want to interrupt his date night. When he contacts me, then we'll go from there. Sorry, I didn't mean to put business out there.
Getting some loving.
That's right.
You know
I don't blame him now. Yeah. I wouldn't want to talk about Umbrella Academy if I had a date either.
Right. Exactly.
No.
So him and his lady are having a romantic evening. I think.
You know, but he's probably got his phone going with us with the recording of us going right now.
Watching
God damn it, Nathan! Shut up.
I'm super into him because date nights, I don't know what those are anymore.
I don't either. And my wife
considers and all that kind of logistics on that part. You're like,
I'm
staying home.
Yeah.
He's probably pretending to pay attention to her, but he's listening.
Right.
Earbud in here. I'm willing to jump on. Well, let's stall as long as we can, though. So we'll talk about what he can't talk about. And let's talk about Umbrella Academy. Cody,
you guys school me. Go ahead.
Nathan, you don't mind spoilers, so we're just gonna go full spoiler here. Okay, cool.
No, go ahead.
We talked a little bit about the first half of the season last week, and y'all mentioned a little bit about the last half of the season because y'all were like, "Oh, we find out at the end of the season that Hargraves is actually an alien." And I was like, "Wait a second, I didn't know that." And then I saw it.
I didn't realize until after the show that I spoiled that.
Yeah.
Because I said it in passing, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, man, I forgot Greg didn't see that part."
Yeah. Well, I had to ask myself. I was like, "Did I miss that in the first season? Like, was he talking about the first season?" But no, it didn't matter. It's not a big deal. Yeah, it's still fun.
Hargraves acts like an alien throughout the entire both seasons. It don't matter.
Kind of infer it. If you remember, at the end of season 1, there's a part where it shows Hargraves go up to a window, and you see all these spaceships flying away. And actually, in all honesty, in the original comic, you find out that Hargraves is a alien in like the second panel of the comic book. Really? So yeah, in the books you find out really early on. But yeah, man, it's a big part of the story going forward is Hargraves, where he's from, what his actual intentions were. And one of the reasons why I'm excited about season 3 is because now it feels like they're finally going to delve into all the other superpowered kids that were born on the same day. Yep. So now...
Well, because you find there is one that nobody knew about.
Right, and Lila.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Lila, at the very end of the show, you find out that she's another one of the siblings. And it was an awesome season, man. And I'm thinking now... so again, we're full of spoilers here. At the end, after they write the timeline, they go back and everything has changed. Mm-hmm. And it's no longer the Umbrella Academy. It is now the Sparrow Academy. Yes. Mm-hmm. And Ben is still alive. You see the silhouettes of other Academy members up on the banister, but you don't really see their faces and who they are. And this is really interesting because this means that now, in that same timeline, Hargraves probably brought in other children other than the ones in the Sparrow Academy. So that essentially means there could be another alternate version of themselves floating around in this new future that they have accidentally created for themselves. So I'm really pumped because now it's looking like they're going to it's really going to be superpowers versus superpowers. Sparrow Academy versus the Umbrella Academy. So I love what they're doing so far, and I'm pumped for it going forward.
I knew the minute that they met with their father and had dinner, and they told them that you will adopt these kids one day, that at that moment right there, they have changed the timeline. Like, you cannot go to him and tell him, because he talks about how much he hates kids, tell him, guess what? In this year, you're going to find all of us and adopt us and raise us as kids. You just completely changed the timeline.
That was like the most disgusting thing he'd ever heard. Oh no. No.
Another cool little Easter egg is at the very end when Harlan, the little boy with autism, is in the car with his mom. They're driving away, and you see he's still hovering the little bird in his hand, which, by the way, is a little sparrow. So it's another nod to the Sparrow Academy themselves. I
didn't see that. Good point.
Yeah, but it also implies that Harlan is also alive in that timeline, in the new timeline that they have created, and he's probably around 70 years old at that time. So we have no idea what impact a future Harlan will have on the future of this story and what role he might play. So that'd be interesting too. The fact that Vanya didn't pull all of her powers out of him, that he was still able to retain some somehow. I think that's going to be a fun mystery that they're going to play with going forward as well. And in the end, he might be something of a more of a father figure than Hargraves. If they go into this other timeline, and now he's this old wise guy with powers. They have a lot of potential to do some cool stuff moving forward.
What do you think they're going to do if they have Harlan, who's in the future, the future they've come to now, who's 70 years old, and he sees Vanya the same age as when he was younger? That's going to be a big deal, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of implications, and also there might be another Vanya out there somewhere that was, she was never brought into the academy, she never had the same timeline of events happen to her. So she might be ultra powerful somewhere else in this timeline. So they're setting up for some really cool stuff, and I think that they're not done exploring Ben as a character. This season we saw him finally kind of depart and say, all right, I'm going to the light. It was because of Klaus that he decided to stay. He was afraid, and they were alone, and they kind of needed each other, and they were there for each other. But you got that resolution where he goes back and he decides to cross on. But we're not done with the character, because now it's looking like he will be a central antagonist going forward, depending on what the Sparrow Academy's role is. And it's not even, right now, we don't even know if they're going to be an antagonist group, if there's going to be a battle between them. I'm assuming that there will be, but there's a lot of different possibilities that they can play with.
Oh yeah. What do you think, Sarah?
Because I basically binged season 2 right when it came out, because I was kind of coming off the high of season 1, so I was like, okay, I couldn't get enough of it. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, man. I just thought it was interesting, especially when they built up trying to get to Reginald to talk to him, and then, like I said, when they finally have dinner, and they're like, oh well, Luther's like, well, you're our father, and he's like, no, I'm not. What is wrong with you people? I mean, it was like, okay, how did this guy later on bring in these kids? I mean, even though he did kind of look at them like science experiments, but other than that, but then when he took his face off and just hung it on and put it on the back of the chair, I thought, that makes a lot of sense right there. But when you go back and look at his history leading up to how he came to, I guess, America or whatever, that was kind of interesting, because that was kind of like the build up with the violin. So I don't know if that was the end of season 1 going into season 2. I don't know. It's just like a big season everything all together. Yeah. But I mean, I just thought that was pretty cool. But it was, I don't know. I I was just like, they just go from one cluster to another, and I cannot wait for season 3 to see how this cluster is going to unfold.
Me too.
It's insane.
And it does feel like they're finally going to expand upon Hargraves a little more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's like the big kind of mystery in this whole thing. I mean, we know now that he's not from another world. Another thing that if you blink, you miss, in season 1, when you see him go up to the window, he has this jar with this magic kind of like firefly dust in it. Mm-hmm. And if you notice when Vanya saves Harlan, it's that same dust particles that enters into his body that saves him.
Ooh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so we really don't know what it is. We don't know if it's something that Hargraves imparted onto them. We don't know if it was the reason why Hargraves' home planet was being destroyed for some reason, if it was mining it, if it was a war for some kind of essence. We just don't know a lot about Hargraves, and it's going to be interesting going forward because he's one of the central characters of the whole show, obviously, and his choice to take in those different kids. So now that we're in a different timeline, there's a chance that Pogo, I believe that was his name, the chimpanzee for season 1, he might be alive.
Their mother,
Cha-Cha, and
Hazel. Please give me Cha-Cha and Hazel. Yes.
And I didn't even notice that there was an Easter egg with what was the female character? Was she Cha-Cha or Hazel?
She was Cha-Cha. Hazel was the guy.
They show a woman walking into the academy place where there's all the stairs where the main bad villain, her name escapes me
now. Right?
Yeah, but at the bureau they show a woman holding her bear helmet that she wore in season 1, and she's like walking through one of these doors, and if you blinked you missed it. So maybe that was an Easter egg hinting that she is still alive. Essentially, every character that you know and love has the potential to be alive in season 3.
Oh, yeah. And I really hope they bring them back, too. I love Hazel and Cha-Cha. Was upset that it didn't happen this season, but now that I've gone through the season,
a lot of
it makes
people
sense.
were.
Yeah, it makes sense, though.
Well, I mean, I did
bring them back.
Yeah.
It did throw me off, seeing Hazel like the very first episode, and the fact that because you would think that he was gone or whatever, and then you come to find out that he did live his life with what was the lady's name? But anyways, then he did what he did.
Holy crap!
Oh, you just saw that?
No, I'm sorry, y'all. I got some breaking news. Black Panther actor Chadwick Boseman dies at 43 after 4-year fight with colon cancer.
Get the fuck out of here! Are you serious?
No, Katie just broke that in
Twitter,
chat.
dude.
Yeah.
Say it again. What?
Of colon cancer.
Colon cancer.
Remember, he looked so skinny. Remember, like a couple months ago, those pictures came out and he looked skinny, and people were wondering what the fuck happened.
Wow, I'm just now seeing that
man.
picture.
Whoa.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, I hated to break the show with that, but that is devastating.
That's big.
Dude, that.
Oh my god.
Oh damn it.
Oh man, I hate that, dude. Oh my gosh.
And he was so perfect for the role.
He was.
Dude.
Oh my gosh.
He was
so perfect.
good as Black Panther, man. That's legitimately crushing.
I had no idea he even had problems. Like he was. I had no
idea.
idea.
He must have been keeping it to himself.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, when those pictures came out of him all skinny and stuff, he was acting like everything was all fine. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, it's kind of like the same way with David Bowie because you really didn't. You knew something wasn't right, and then it broke. When he passed, and it was like, what's going on? So.
Holy shit.
If you think about it, Chadwick.
Did he have kids? I know he had a wife, didn't he?
I mean, Chadwick played the biggest black superhero on film.
He'll always be that.
I agree. Yeah.
Maybe you could say Blade, but dude, what Black Panther meant to the culture in the past few years for both superhero and black culture, man,
holy
that's
shit.
A devastating loss, man.
Wow, dude, I've got goosebumps. That's insane.
Yeah, that's
2020 officially sucks.
Oh, it's been
official. 2020 end.
Dude.
Goodness
Like, go away. I will strike out the rest of this year. I'm good.
Man, rest in paradise.
Shit.
Chadwick,
Oh my god.
Yeah, seriously. I thoughts out to his family. Like, I wish the best for him and everybody. That's crazy, man. This is a huge hit right here. Holy crap. Wow, man. Oh, my gosh. Sorry. I didn't mean to break the show with that, but Katie put it in the chat, and I was like, oh, my goodness gracious.
Like, it's almost best to do it that way because you have everyone's genuine reaction to a tragic news, man. That's rough.
That is rough. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Well, let's get. I'm sure we'll find out more about that in the future. Like I said, this is just something breaking Katie just sent to us, and I can't believe it happened. But let's try to move on here with the show because I'm sure we're going to talk about this more next week and in the future. And I don't want to speculate about anything. I don't want to put any news out there that I know is not true. Like I want to find out the full story before I start talking about it. But
you can hear Chris and Travis. I'm sure will break down every bit by the time
100%.
Marvel Alliance comes out. They 100%. Will know. Yeah. They will know all the details, and they'll be your spot to be able to get your news or figure it out.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I think a statement was put out by his family. So just saying that he had passed away. So that he'd been battling since like 2016.
That's so goddamn young.
It is.
So basically, he got cast as Black Panther and started filming for for Civil War, and this happened, and he's been fighting it ever since.
Yeah, it's like started in 16, and just said he battled with it, and it progressed to stage 4. So, unfortunately, sometimes.
And what kind of
colon?
What kind of cancer?
Colon.
Stage 3 colon cancer.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Golly. I hate that, man.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers with his family, absolutely.
And obviously, this is
God damn it.
This is so secondary too, especially because we've lost a talented actor.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now
his family's first.
Yeah. And now Marvel has big shoes to fill, man. How do you recast Black Panther? I mean, that's tough, man.
You don't. T'Challa.
I agree.
T'Challa will die and it goes to Shuri.
I don't think you do.
So what? Did you just give up on?
No.
There's plenty of comics where Shuri becomes the Black Panther and she becomes the Queen of Wakanda.
I think
you can literally say Black Panther died of a real world thing like colon cancer and draw attention to it in a massive superhero movie. You can literally say that, like, you know what I mean, and get people's eyes to it. You know what I mean? Like I know it sounds because he ate that heart, but you could really do it in a meaningful way, and you can switch it right to Shuri. And that lady, that girl that plays Shuri, is a fucking delightful young lady.
Oh, yeah.
She is.
I mean, and this is all secondary. You know what I mean? I know Ryan Coogler and him were working on the script and stuff for Black. Well, not the main actor gets a little influence on it or whatever. But I know they're working on Black Panther 2 and everything. So man, that's just, and like I said, this is all completely secondary. His family obviously comes first in this tragedy because Jesus, that is so young, and that is so goddamn young.
43, that's unreal.
That's only a year older than me. And yeah, I just put it out there. Yeah, I don't care. I'll own it.
You're only as old as you feel.
That's right.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, when you put it in that, it's scary. You never know how things can turn.
Wow. Holy crap. Oh, okay.
Take a moment. Okay.
Take a second. Gotta focus. This is some heavy hitting stuff right here. It's insane. Like I said, all of us thoughts and prayers, thoughts and wishes out to, the family and everybody that loved him. It's insane, but I'm sure we're gonna hear more about this come Wednesday morning.
Let's try to shift gears. Let's try to shift gears here.
Let's go back to Umbrella Academy real quick because I broke that. Had to put it out there, but
it had to be. I'm glad you told us.
Talk to me about Ben possessing Klaus's body in this movie this series. What y'all think about that? Did y'all like it? The idea of it?
I thought it was one of the funniest moments in the whole show.
Yeah.
It really humanized him. He falls in love with one of Klaus's followers, this female character. And again, he's a dead guy, and you have to remember he died when he was a teenager. So, he's been following around his bumblefuck brother for years without really having a choice while he is a part of all this debauchery. And he finds this girl that he loves, and then he's kind of able to, talk to her and make out with her. Even it was a heartwarming moment. I felt that this season was honestly at its best when they were spotlighting the relationship between Klaus and Ben. I felt like the best moment in the whole series or in the whole season was when Ben tells Vanya not to blame Klaus, and that they finally let him go and let him pass on. I thought it was poignant, and I thought it was to the point, and it was emotional in the right kind of way.
Sarah?
Oh yeah, that when Ben and Klaus, especially them fighting and Klaus trying to pop him back out, and I've never seen somebody throw up so much in my life. That was crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was cool, and I thought it was very, like Cody was saying, I thought it was very poignant in the end, especially when Ben was able to literally say goodbye. You see him throughout season 1, season 2, where he's trying to live through Klaus, so to speak. And he's like, dude, I'm here, but yet I'm not. But yet help me be seen. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I mean, this season is just. I want more of season 3. I just want to see more.
Yes.
It's got a really cool build-up, and it's not the same story. Yes, you might have from season 1 to season 2, your timeline variation, trying to fix it, and that kind of thing. So I'm really curious to see if season 3, if they kind of get away from trying to fix the timeline to where, okay, we're here back in our timeline or our time. Mm-hmm. Let's see what we screwed up. Right. Let's see how we can try to fix it or either just deal with it.
Yeah. And
I think that's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah, that is a point I wanted to bring up later, but I'm going to circle that and come back to it because I want to just give my thoughts here on Ben possessing Klaus's body. The idea is great, and imagining the fact that you haven't felt or touched anything in 25, 30 years, and now you can possess his body and actually feel and touch and everything would be absolutely amazing. I loved the Ben sacrifice at the end, and I almost teared up at the moment where he's fading away and you see him and he knows he's dying. He knows it's done. And he's there with Vanya and he says, "Can I just hug you? Like can you can you just hold me while I'm fading away?" And because that's the last thing he wants to feel. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it right now. Oh my goodness. That's the last thing he wants to feel because he hasn't felt that in so long. He even says, "I love the dirt," or I love the grass, whatever. He's doing snow angels in the grass. I could not imagine what it's like to lose that sense of touch, of feeling. It kind of reminds me of Cliff in Doom Patrol. I can't imagine what it's like to be conscious and alive, or at least existent and aware, and not know what those feelings are like anymore, of love, of touch, of smell, of taste. Blows my mind. The fact that he had a chance to feel that one more time before he died, and the fact that he sacrificed himself, and now they've written him in where he can come back. That's a character that's not even dead yet, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Totally new character almost. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. But, circling back to what you were saying about they felt like they were doing the same thing, but they didn't do the same thing. I love the repeat without repeating thing. They did. Yeah. They hit all of the same notes in the second season they hit in the first season, but instead of spending 2-3 episodes to explain it, they explained it in one scene. Hey, this is so-and-so, here's their powers. This is what happened, here's what's going on. We're saving the world, this is what's going on. I loved how it was the same but different. And it's not a matter of the end of it was them saving the world. They saved the world, and then there's more after that going on. And the more after that going on was the most interesting part of the entire second season, I think.
Yeah. And I was really shocked to see how strong, because you knew Vanya was powerful after season 1, but to see what she did to bring back Harlan, that blew my mind. I thought, oh my gosh, this chick is like Jean Grey powerful. That's nuts.
That's what it reminds me of, Jean Grey. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was really surprised, for that. But probably the one thing I didn't like about the season was her and how she came in and she's like, oh, I don't know who I am. I don't know all this. But yet she kind of fell into her power like it was second nature. It wasn't like the struggle she had in the first season. It was like, okay, well, I'm doing this, and okay. It was just, all right. So that was probably like the one thing I thought was kind of odd, but I rolled with it.
Great season. I really felt like so far, it's only been 2 seasons, but I feel like so far they've done a good job building upon what they've already established. So there really is, a genuine feel of character progression. The only one, and I said this the last time I was on with you guys, the only one I never felt that for was for Vanya. I felt like her storyline was kind of similar to her season 1 story throughout most of the season. So again, I don't love her character as much. I feel like in the comics, her character is probably a little more fleshed out. But overall, I really like what they're doing. I think that they're doing a good job setting up the different dynamics between each of the siblings. And again, I don't know how spoiler you want me to get into it, but knowing what some of the future editions of the comics have, and knowing what they're doing, it feels like they're kind of simultaneously setting up for 2 different storylines that are set to come from future comics. One being the Sparrow Academy, and one being it's essentially like a prison for very powerful, superpowered villains that Hargreaves actually sets up at one point, which a lot of people think could be even connected to why number 1 was sent to the moon. That maybe Hargreaves actually did have a plan for him up on the moon, but it was just a part of his lie to make him think that there was no plan. There's a lot of different directions that they can go with this that I feel benefits them, because there's so many different stories that they can tell. So I'm pumped for it. I love what they're doing. I've enjoyed it, man. When this season dropped, I didn't know how much I missed the show until I started watching it. Because we binge watch now. Yep. Yeah, as soon as Sarah just said we watched it all in like 2 days. So it's like you love it for those 2 days, but then you have to, you're without it for the rest of the year. So when it withdrawals. So when it comes back, it's like, oh yeah, I remember why I love this shit. This is actually awesome. So yeah, shout out to Umbrella Academy. I think they're doing good stuff with it.
Shout out.
I kind of kicked myself in the pants because I'm like, why didn't I get in this beginning? That's like I told you guys. It took about like 5 episodes because I'm like, really. Then I'm like, oh yeah,
yes. Yeah, I agree. About the 5th episode of season 1 is when it really took off for me. After that, same way with Doom Patrol for me. I had to get through about 5 or 6 episodes of the first season. Then I really, really enjoyed it. I just needed to establish the characters and have a.
You are high as a motherfucker.
Not right now.
Patrol was right out of the gate. I was like, whoa.
I just dove head first into that chaos. I was
Me
like,
too.
let's
go. Y'all talking about Doom Patrol?
Yeah, it's a great show.
See, dude, I've yet to bite the HBO Max bullet, knowing that eventually I'm gonna have to, because it's like I don't know, but I have been like, if I did get it, it would be for that right now, for Doom Patrol.
Cody, if you want to catch up on Doom Patrol, hit me up. Text me. I will send you my credentials for my DC Alliance.
Send in VCRs.
I'll send you my DC Alliance password and everything, so you can watch the first 2 seasons of Doom Patrol. It's
Friends in high places.
Well worth it, man.
If you don't, I will.
Well worth it. That's right.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
So last thing I want to talk about was, just one point I want to find out about was the 5 versus 5. Like, what y'all think about them meeting each other, the 7 steps of what you go through when you meet yourself in a different timeline, and their dynamic? Because I was wondering if we were ever going to get the actual adult version of 5, even though I do like the child version of 5 better. I was wondering if we were going to get that. We did this season. He had a much bigger role than I thought. And, time travel with 5, I feel like 5 is the main character of this entire series, to be truly honest with you. I think he's the guy you focus on. And there's one moment with...
And his shenanigans.
Yeah. Well, there's one moment with Seconds and Decades that I think as soon as I heard that, I was like, that's going to be how the season ends. Seconds and Decades. And it ended up like that way. But before we get there, what y'all think about the interaction with 5 and 5?
I thought it was goofy, and I like the fact that they that they really kind of played up on this thing that 5 doesn't even trust himself.
Right.
I mean, if you realize that the guy
you don't trust that bastard.
Yeah. The guy was alone by himself for such a large portion of his life. Then he ends up becoming a contract killer. Then the minute that he goes back to his family, he has to save the world. Like, he literally, his entire life has been surviving and trying to help others survive. And the balancing act of who do you trust? Am I doing the right thing? Even my siblings that I've been away from forever, do they trust me? Do I trust them? So the fact that he doesn't even trust himself, and he's essentially having to fight like a mental war between one and his other self. Like, no, don't believe that bastard. He's me. You can't trust him. Mm-hmm. Like, I love that he's talking about himself and he knows it. And for a minute, I actually thought number 1 was gonna side with the older 5.
I did too.
I really did. Mm-hmm. But he kind of ended up treating them like 2 siblings, like 2 children. Like, come on, you 2 need to play along. We're on the same team here. I thought it was fun.
Sarah, what do you think? 5.
I don't know. 5 just kills me, anyways. I mean, the only stable thing that's been in his life is that mannequin. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you guys are
Dolores.
And I thought it was so sweet when he brought it back and put it back in the store and told the sales lady, please make sure this mannequin is taken care of. And she's looking at him like, what is wrong with you? But yeah, it was the dynamic.
Mannequin's in the landfill right now, crushed up in the landfill.
Exactly. I mean, it was just so random. So yeah, it was funny when they finally, see each other and go toe to toe. And like Cody was saying, it's like they didn't even trust each other. You're the same person, but you don't trust each other.
Well, you remember they're going through the 7 stages at that point. I love how they explained it and they told you what was going to happen, and then you get to see Luther. Yeah, Luther, number 1. What's his name?
Yeah.
Number 1.
Okay, Luther experience watching them go through these 7 stages, and they're both trying, because denial is one of them, and they're both denying. It's so funny, man. I thought they did a great job with that. I love that actor that plays number 5. I want him cast in the future as Jason Todd. I think he would make an amazing Jason Todd. He has the attitude. Bulk him up just a little bit. Teach him some martial arts skills. This guy can do it. Like, he's my guy. That's my Jason Todd casting right there.
All right.
But 5 versus 5, man.
Right, yeah.
Love the idea of it. Love the way they portrayed it. I'm interested to see if we have more of the older 5 in the future, because he obviously gave up the chance for him to come back as older 5, to save the world in this type of deal. But the concept was great. I love they handle time travel and the way things are supposed to go, at least the way in my mind it works, very well. It all made sense to me, So
yeah, they didn't get too technical in that.
That's what they went out for. When they got in their focus group, they said, "How would Greg like this to be done?"
That's right.
And they said,
"How can we follow this a little bit easier?"
Right. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you, last question about Umbrella Academy: most improved character from season 1 to season 2.
Oh,
Diego.
Yeah, Diego's a good one. I even feel Ben a little bit too.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Because the fact that he's dead and he's kind of relegated to, kind of just being a sub-story of Klaus. I also feel like Klaus is a good one. Yeah, I feel... But I actually think I agree with Sarah. I think Diego, like, in this, he's kind of painted as, like, the crazy conspiracy theorist, the dude that you can't control. He's going to go and stop the JFK assassination, and 5 can't tell him anything. It's like... he keeps on going with it, but with the introduction of Lila, it's like, now he has something else to care about that isn't being this vigilante badass. So it kind of balanced him out a little bit. So, yeah, I think
like Walmart Batman.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I grounded him a little bit too, because he kind of lost his grounding with the other cop lady when she was. What was it?
Right, who
Chop
died?
Killed her?
Yeah, who died in the first season, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's another interesting thing. if Lila is still alive in this timeline, it could also be possible that his detective sidekick is still alive too. So maybe there could be a bit of a love triangle going on now that the doors are open for some dead characters to come back.
Well, I'm just curious about Lila unto herself, because I mean, she started out you thinking she's some, insane asylum, just that's where she's at. But then when her background unfolds, you see there's a lot more to her. And then of course by the end of the season 2, you're just like, whoa, okay, where did that come from?
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
My most improved, Sarah, you took it. I had to say Diego. That character from first season to second grew tremendously, and I like how in the first season it's about Diego and Luther fighting each other about number one. That's all it is. They hate each other.
That power struggle.
This season, it's them more working together way more, and the number one, the number two doesn't matter. I think they even mentioned that towards the end of the season. Like, Diego says it, forget numbers. We're not numbers anymore. We're names. And I love how they put that aspect out there. Diego was my biggest character that grew in this one. Luther ate in almost every episode. Or almost every scene he was in this episode. He was eating. It's like Brad Pitt in Ocean's 11. Go back and watch it. Brad Pitt in Ocean's 11, and every single scene he's in, almost, he's eating something. It's got to be a character choice,
It's actually, it's even more than Ocean 11. I saw a video. Brad Pitt is eating in so many different movies. Like, in so many different movies, he's like putting something in his mouth and chewing on something. Hey, I'm sure certain people love that, but yeah, that's I did notice that as well. So.
Sorry, my sister's now asking me about Black Panther, so.
Oh yeah, Brian came down here not too long ago, and he's like, "Did you see this?" I'm like, "Yes, I did."
Pretty insane, but.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up our Umbrella Academy news then. That's
we're gonna have a Black Panther day before long.
Oh, definitely.
The Marvel Alliance they're gonna have to.
No. I just mean like he did. That movie was huge. It, what I mean? There were schools that organized and went together. Like, it was a huge thing for our community. Like, and he did that. You know what I mean? He was the face. He showed. You know what I mean?
And you know what? He was from South Carolina, so he will always be to me the Carolina Black Panther. Like,
there you go.
So that's my thing. He is always the Carolina Black Panther right there. So
Carolina sucks.
Pounding, brother. Yes.
Carolina sucks.
Two other Panther fans.
Are you Chicago fan up there?
By the way, just to show you how strong he was, I read on Twitter that he filmed all those big roles that he was in while he was having surgeries and doing chemo.
Yeah.
So he was doing all those things and making blockbusters at the same time. The dude was a legend. Don't forget, Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, man, he played some instrumental roles that were big time, so. Yeah. Super sad news, man.
It is. Like I said, best wishes to his family, and thoughts go out to you. I hate that for you, but man, we keep going back to that. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
it's a big deal. I get
it's very timely, topical. It's not like we can just ignore it. I mean, like, what kind of assholes would we?
It'd be disrespectful to ignore it.
Well, this guy, like I said, especially in the genre that we're in, like, this guy's he is a big icon. Like, he's a big part and a big piece of the first phase, the Infinity Saga. You know what I mean? He's in four movies, 5 movies, you know what I mean? Like, and he's a prominent main player. Like in Black Panther, or Civil War, he comes in, or he's a big player. Black Panther, he's a big movie, it's a big player. Infinity War, they literally have to go to Wakanda to get the troops from him. You know what I mean? Like, he's a big part.
And he's the first.
And then he goes, you know what I mean? He comes back, like, he's a big part of that kind, you know what I'm saying? That saga.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't have it without it. Like, he's cemented. Because you know what I mean? You know how we are. I might be 3 more years, 4 more years, but eventually I will go back and I'll watch just the Infinity Saga, the movies that we have out right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'll go back through and I'll do a rewatch just to watch that through. And you know what I can't do with that? I can't have an Infinity Saga rewatch without watching Black Panther and all the more, Chadwick Boseman reprising that role and making, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he's always going to be cemented in that legacy, but damn, it just sucks for him to go that young and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the movies are at least that, like you said, he's 42. You know, he's done great stuff. He's a good actor on his own. He won a bunch of awards and stuff, but it's just
too young.
It's just like, you know, we'll always remember him, and at least he'll be cemented in that, and especially like what he did, like I said, for being the first $1 billion, you know what I'm saying, like person of color, like $1 billion, boom, the whole movie was, you know what I mean?
I would.
It was a cultural event when Black Panther came out, and again, not to make this about Chadwick's untimely death, but it really does make you wonder what are they going to do going forward, because as important as Black Panther was in the startup,
legacy will be.
Yeah, well, and I also feel like he was going to play a big part in what they were going to do going forward.
Oh yeah,
because I know at some point they were going to implement the X-Men, and in the comic books, Black Panther and Wakanda go to war with Namor and the Atlanteans, and there were even some Easter eggs that might have been how they were going to introduce the X-Men into the Marvel universe. So,
I mean, man, you could recast, but that's real touch. You know what I mean? Like, if you ever wanted to have a problem, you know, like people have a problem with new Batman or you know, characters that you just can't recast or whatever. Like, oh, that's not my Superman, not my Batman, not whatever.
Right.
Well, this is gonna be a role, especially with how he doesn't even have the opportunity to, and they're so young. People are gonna be like, whoa, like you got to get the right person in there.
Yeah, there's a difference there. It's like whenever they had to recast the Joker. Like, yes, they would have continued with Heath Ledger as Joker had, you know, tragedy not struck.
Right.
But they had to defer from that, and they went years without having a Joker to give people time to forget that Joker. Same way they're going to have to do with Wolverine. You cannot have another Wolverine for at least 3, 4, 5 more years. Like 3 years, I would say, minimum. Because people will always see Hugh Jackman, and people will always see Chadwick Boseman as the first Black Panther. And they've got to give him time to get over that. Like, I think the best route to go if they're going to recast Black Panther, like you said, go with the Shuri stuff and have her take up the mantle.
And have him killed. Have him killed. And I hate to say that, but you can put somebody in the full costume with the mask on in the opening credits of Black Panther 2 or whatever. And I hate to say it, but like kill him off and then put his body, you know what I mean? Like where they give him they give him a king's burial. They give him a king's burial, and then the second movie's about the crown falling to Shuri, which I know is not kind of the same thing, but it'd be totally different, you know what I mean? Like especially the unexpected, like, and just going, and like I said, it's all dumb because that's not even what it's about. But I'm just saying, like it's gonna have to be addressed at some point in time. And
I wonder reverence to the actor for that character. So
I wonder if they already started filming parts of Black Panther 2. I wonder if he had started filming, and I mean probably not, especially if he was.
I don't think so, especially with COVID and everything shut down. I don't believe so. Well, it wasn't ever actually slated either.
Right,
but
they announced it, but they never announced a date.
Yeah. And like Coogler held off on the name because he said he had the name and he knew he had a script done, but he held off on giving it. And I'm wondering now if it's because he knew that like Chadwick was like, "Hey man, I'm in another battle. You know, I got to go back for another hard round of chemo and stuff." Because it wasn't much later that we saw pictures of him very skinny, and people online were making jokes and cracking stuff. You know what I mean? So like I'm wondering if that wasn't strategic just because, and that's just a conspiracy. That's just kind of talking out loud, you know, working it out. It could be true, could be not. I don't know, but just makes me wonder.
It just seems like the character is so powerful now that at some point they're gonna have to, like, it almost be. It would almost be a
respect Chadwick Boseman and what he did, though.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying it would almost be a travesty to just completely T'Challa out, you know?
Yeah, you can't shelve him, but like you're gonna have to do some comic book, like maybe when you get down the road to the multiverse of madness, you know what I mean? However far down it is or whatever, maybe you can pull oh, look, we messed up a timeline, damn it, Barry situation. Like I said, and that's all that, but like, you can't shelve the character of the Black Panther because it is way too important, but you're also gonna need, like, I feel like you should pay respect to Chadwick Boseman and
yeah, for sure,
give it a little time before you see T'Challa again, in whatever way you want to make it happen.
I agree. Yeah, it's going to be interesting how they choose to handle it, but Marvel Studios has done a great job so far handling a lot of different things, and this is the new problem for them to handle. I want to see how they're going to do it, but I have a feeling, based on their track record, they're going to do a good job, and it's going to be handled properly. So we'll see.
And respectfully, I'm sure. That's one thing I think it's going to be. It's going to be very respect. You know what I mean? They're gonna definitely honor his legacy for what he did, especially going out so young, especially with something so just devastating.
Oh yeah. Well, all right, we kind of went on a stray there. We were ending the Umbrella Academy, but I think we're done with Umbrella Academy, right?
Yeah, we are.
We were done with Umbrella Academy. We kind of did a little more Black Panther talk because, we just found out about this instantly. I can't believe that I actually broke something to other people, but it was only because they were distracted. I never break things, but yeah, it's crazy. And let's move on to the last little segment of the show here. I know. We have
Travis coming on. Did you tell him?
Travis is not coming on. Yeah, I just messaged him. He said he's not coming on tonight. So we will go on without him, and we will we'll be just a little bit less good. Not quite as good, I should say. Not less good. Not quite as good, but it'll still be great.
Man, we can just.
No, we're talking DC fandom. I want to know your thoughts, sir. You have not had a chance to talk about it, so we're moving on.
Yeah, Nathan, you missed out. You weren't around us that day.
On DC fandom. So, overall thoughts, man. How do you feel?
I really, really enjoyed fandom, honestly. Like, I didn't get to watch it, but I did get to watch the trailers as everything came out. And if we're going to walk through what was presented in sort of the order, Wonder Woman 84, like, what a great trailer. I like it, like, it showed a little bit of Cheetah. I liked her, like, blocking bullets with the lasso, like, you know what I mean? Like, whipping around. Steve Trevor, coming in, I just like Chris Pine, so I'm down with that. I got a feeling we're getting the Invisible Jet. We literally saw them in a jet. Like,
you will not see that Invisible Jet, dude. It's not gonna happen.
Okay, we might not see it, but you know what I mean. But like, I can't believe that like they would put him in a jet and it not be invisible, or give some kind of wink where something happens and they go you know what I mean? And like,
there's no way that jet doesn't turn invisible. For at least 10 seconds.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there's no way they don't.
So y'all think the jet they got in because she even mentions the radar. Okay, that makes sense. That'd be cool.
I think it's gonna be interesting to see the Bullets and Bracelets tournament, and maybe that's not exactly what they call, but I've got a feeling that's what they're doing at the Coliseum on Themyscira with young Diana again. That's what because that's typically in the comics. You know how that's typically how she wins the honor to take Steve Trevor to leave Themyscira and go to Man's World, and then she usually stays and she becomes Wonder Woman and kicks ass out there. But that's just my speculation because I saw the Coliseum is like it's gonna be like their version of that. But that's what I think.
Dude, Gal Gadot's so beautiful. I know I'm such a simp, man, but she's just like she's gorgeous, man. But anyway, that's here or there. Sorry,
no, but she does look gorgeous in this, honestly. Like, holy shit.
Nathan, what was your thought on Cheetah? Because I remember seeing the leak, and I remember telling Chris, I'm like, I don't want to see her till I see the film. I don't want to see her.
Well, I did find it interesting that they didn't stop on her. She never stopped. Like, it was going.
Brian says she looked too poofy.
But you know what? I will. From what I saw, she doesn't look bad. Now, if she's standing still and she looks like a big pup, I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. I think it's interesting that they're going for like a slow transformation. That like it almost seems like she gets powerful at first, and then you know what I'm saying. Like she gets strong, but she's like all human-like, and like eventually she's more power turns her.
Well, I think it just kind of depends on which storyline they want to follow as her transformation.
Okay,
because it looks like to me in the movie, however she's talking to Maxwell, because you see that scene where he's kind of promising a bit more, and you can tell she's already made some sort of transformation. because she goes. It's kind of like from Pamela Isley to the Poison Ivy.
Right.
You got this mousy looking nobody that turns into this badass, whatever. So I see that transformation. So I'm curious to see what happens from that one to the actual full on fur and tail. So that's going to be interesting.
You know what I want to get your guys' opinion on. Are you guys under the impression that Diana loses her powers in this movie?
I haven't been.
Neither have I. But I heard somebody say that. I heard somebody on a podcast say, obviously Diane's losing her powers, and Cheetah is taking her power.
That's interesting.
And then I kind of thought about it. And why does she have to get the armor? Why does she have to get the armor with the wings? Like, did she lose? Like, and then she just, and Sarah, what you just said that she had to give something. Well, Maxwell Lord clearly has some kind of talisman, token, something that is giving him power. What if she had to give up some of her power to get Steve back?
That's what I'm curious about. I want to see how that happens with him coming back, because
Maxwell Lord is obviously the person that just concocted that. Somehow, whatever that thing is, it amplifies his brain power, gives him his mental power. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they'll tie his power to that, but somehow, like, that's how, whatever that little doohickey is you see with him in the trailer, like, that's going to be what does his thingy jigger.
The only thing I have to say against that is it seems like in the trailer that you get to see the meeting of Diana and Steve Trevor.
Right.
The first time.
Yeah.
She looks surprised.
Yes. And he even says, okay, you know what? You're right. You're right. And I'm just throwing stuff out there.
It could be, but she may be surprised because maybe she didn't know if it was going to work or not. So who knows? But she looks very surprised when they meet.
You know what I think, too? And I think Diana will fly in this, but I think she needs the wingsuit to fly. I think eventually she's evolving to where, like, she's a god killer. You know what I mean? Like, we know what she's there for. Like, I think the stronger she gets, the more she goes, and like you could even tie it into BVS, because that first shot where she goes at Doomsday, it almost looks like she flies at him. Right. So like you could still tie it into that, but I think she needs the wingsuit at first, and then I think she'll learn the ability to maybe not like Superman, but like float for a minute or fly, hover and kind of come down, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think she definitely flies with that suit, like 100% with the wingsuit.
It's very possible.
Despite all the other awesomeness that came out later, that was Wonder Woman was one of my favorites. But I mean, you guys know that's my jam. Yep. That's my jam.
So let me throw this out there for you guys. I don't know what your opinions are on the DCEU up until this point. I know Greg is a fervent defender of a lot of movies that are kind of panned by critics, but I want to ask you, what did you feel about the current state of the DCEU and where it's going? Because what I can say is I feel much better about it after DC Fandom than I did before. Because I always felt like they were trying to rush to get to what Marvel had already done. Marvel had spent 10 years going through each and every character, giving them their own movie where they were each the protagonists. So by the time you got to the Avengers, it made sense when all of them came together. You're like, oh yeah, this is a super team. But the fact that we essentially got, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, and then the rest of them were introduced in the Justice League, I felt like they were rushing it. But now after what happened with the Joker and Joaquin Phoenix, now with this new Batman trailer, I just feel like DC has figured out they're at their best when they're being kind of edgy and dark and brutal and kind of in your face. And I feel like they realize that now, and that's why I'm more excited for these movies than I have been before. I feel like they've kind of found their way.
My pushback to that is Man of Steel and BVS. People will say it's too dark. Where's the jokes? I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just throwing That's my typical whiny my whiny critic voice. You know what I mean? But like, it's too dark. It's just too much, and that's not my characters. And blah blah blah. And then like they see Robert Pattinson's Batman, like in the trailer, and like look at the fucking violence we wanted. I'll suck his dick right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about?
I'm going to be defending that real soon. Yep.
The warehouse, you know what I'm saying? Like, the warehouse scene for them, like, with Batman, like, where you get the EU version and, like, it's got this blood splatter. You're like, oh, fucking Batman, dude. Look how fucking brutal he is. He's just killing people. He's smashing heads. And, oh, my God. Like,
but Pattinson obviously kills that guy in that trailer. There is no way that guy is not dead in that trailer.
He put him in a vegetable-like state. He might be alive, but he's a vegetable.
If he's not dead, he's hanging on a thread. Like,
get a complete facial reconstruction.
Okay. That guy's okay.
Complete facial and nasal reconstruction at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But no. But I'm okay. I'm like, I don't want to say that. Sorry. I liked a lot of where DC was beforehand, and to me, what all this proves is that they're finally leaning into what they always had the edge on, and that's the multiverse, and letting it be like, hey, if you got a good story and it doesn't fit into our continuity, do what you want. But if you do have a good story that fits into our continuity, like Andy Muschietti, I think is what they said. Sounds like spaghetti Muschietti. Like his Flash is fitting into this current continuity, so much so that they're bringing in Ben Affleck's Batman. But he had such a good idea, and Christina Hodson had such a good idea. Like, hey, we're gonna bring in Michael Keaton's Batman too. And Keaton read the script and was like, yep. You know what I mean?
That was pretty cool.
So and that's in the same continuity with the Suicide Squad, because I don't care what people say. It's not a rebranding. It's not a redoing. They carried over Boomerang, Jack Courtney. They carried over Harley, who just came out of the Birds of Prey. They carried over Viola Davis, which was the most crucial and prominent part of carrying over the Suicide Squad. Like, you've got these characters that carried over. Like, that's in the timeline, too. But then you also have the Batman outside in its own thing. You've got Joker, another complete world all by itself. The Rock is Black Adam's going to be in the timeline, but it's going to be like a way prequel because it's going to be the JSA. Mm-hmm. But eventually, The Rock's going to come forward to hopefully fight Superman, because Henry Cavill and him have been teasing him for years. But that would technically be in our timeline now. You know what I mean?
Look, yeah, I think that, to be truly honest with you, the general audience was not ready for Batman vs Superman and Man of Steel. I think that based on going forward, now they've seen this and that they are starting to like this dark, gritty type tone, realistic type tone. Those movies are going to take off even more than they have. I mean, in my opinion, BVS is my favorite movie of all time. So I mean, I love it
until we get the 4-hour Snyder cut.
But yeah, exactly. Here's the thing, Cody. What you were talking about is how they did something different. Look, man, we heard it from the Justice League Snyder Cut trailer on this fandom. That movie you got was almost nothing like what you were supposed to get. We're going to get 4 full hours of footage, and 3 of them we haven't seen yet.
Okay.
So I mean,
I gotta play devil's advocate a little bit here.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Turn his mic off. I'm just kidding.
So much of the Snyder Cut has been pumped up and pumped up and pumped up. Like, now there's so much
Don't break my heart.
Anticipation for this. Like, is it even possible for this movie to live up to the expectations?
100%.
Yeah.
Fans have
you seen a Zack Snyder movie? Have you seen a Zack Snyder movie? Like a full Zack Snyder movie?
But you know what? I'll add a caveat. You might not feel that way until the third time you watch it. Because Zack Snyder's films are films that get better, in my opinion, they get better on each rewatch. Because you pick up more nuances, or you pick up more themes where the themes hit. You know what I'm saying? So I think after maybe the third or fourth time when you watch it, you're going to be like, holy shit.
And that's
you know
why
what I mean? Like, I needed that.
Man of Steel are going to pick up. Because I think people are going to see this Justice League Snyder Cut.
Oh, when you watch all 3 together?
Wait a second.
Yes.
Let me go back and rewatch
the Superman
this.
trilogy.
Yep.
Well, Man of Steel
when you watch Man of Steel, BVS, and the Snyder Cut, I think people, that to me, like, whenever that all comes out, like, that's going to be a wintertime thing where, like, when I get snowed in, it's going to be my weekend, and that's just going to be, like, all I do. But eventually you're going to be able to watch that all back to back to back to back and stuff. Yeah. And I think that will make people, like, you're going to get payoff for the nightmare scene. Maybe not full payoff, but you're going to get an expansion of the nightmare scene in the Snyder Cut. Yep. You're going to get more payoff, from Superman talking about how he is human. He chose humanity in Man of Steel. And, like, coming back to, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna all tie in together. It's all gonna be puzzle pieces, and I'm gonna love it.
it's gonna make a lot more sense than what was
to me anyway. That's,
you mean that whenever they let the story that was originally supposed to be told, that it's going to make more sense? Wait a second.
Even if it's truncated before the thing, but like it's come back that as much as he can let it go. But even if that's where we end it, you'll still it'll feel more complete than what it is right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's going to feel more, even if they set up something that they never pick it back up on, it's still going to feel more complete than what the trilogy that we have now.
The Justice League. Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Do you guys have any love for the Kevin Feige version? Because from what I the fact that he was able to.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I mean, the fact that it was able to come together. One, I'm happy that Zack Snyder is able to have his version released. That's the guy they paid to do the movie. Everyone should see the version of the movie that he made. No matter what. But I also didn't hate the movie. I didn't love the Justice League. I also didn't absolutely despise it.
I mean, it's got some good stuff.
It has some good scenes to it.
It's got some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel as passionately about it as other people in their hatred of it. Like some people just shit all over it, and it's like I understand because a lot of
some people live to dump on it.
Yeah, I mean, these are the most iconic characters in the world, and if you see how successful Marvel has been, and you feel these characters aren't living up to like a certain standard of superhero, like you want to see Batman and Superman and all these characters, be done justice, have a good story around them told, and I feel like they're figuring that out.
I agree, and that was going to be my big question for the night was where the DC universe is after Fandom, because I feel like after Fandom they've got a completely different footing. We have a clear direction of where they're going forward. And it makes sense. It sounds great. I can't wait to see it. Black Adam, everything coming. Suicide Squad, everything coming forward looks amazing. I'm ready for it.
Let's keep going through. Like, let's talk about the Snyder Cut since we're here. Like, how about we start the mother effer trailer up with a close up of Darkseid?
Yes.
Well, baby Darkseid. Yaxis, whatever the hell you call him.
Well, the complaints were that you didn't get to see the picture of Darkseid you saw before were far away and gritty. Mm-hmm. So Snyder says, "Okay, fuck you. I'll start you off with Darkseid right up front, HD. Here you go to begin the trailer because that's the way it rolls.
I like that Steppenwolf. If you look at Steppenwolf, his armor's living metal. What's Cyborg made out of? Living metal. Mm-hmm. That fluid and living metal. You can tell he's apocalyptic. And you can tell he came from the mother box. Like the same things are happening because you can see the spikes on Steppenwolf's shoulders like moving." Like, and not just because it moves your shoulder, but like they kind of flow and stuff. Like it's living metal, just like Cyborg. Like I said, I can't wait to get that history lesson. We have 4 hours. Like, come on. Like, tell me episode 2 is just going to be the last 25 minutes is just history lesson of like the Atlanteans. Because that's King Atlan. There's a quick shot of King Atlan, which is where in Aquaman, he goes to get his Triton and that big thing that's guarding it said, "I've not talked to anybody since King Atlan." Well, we're going to see him teaming up with the Amazons and stuff. And, he literally brings down the Triton. Like, hell, give me 20 minutes of that because there's a Green Lantern in there. We already know whether Josh changed the character model or if it's going to be the same one from the theatrical run that we saw, but he's going to be in there doing more than just throwing one punch and getting killed. You know what I mean? There's going to be a Lantern. I am highly like, boy, if you had to put a gun to my head right now and put $100 bill on, there will be a Kryptonian in that history lesson. There will be because in that one trailer we heard a long time ago, we heard no Kryptonians, no protectors, which implies that they have faced a Kryptonian that is powered by a yellow sun before. And we saw that open-potted Man of Steel that was around the same time, and I'm telling you, like, there was a Kryptonian in there. If I had to put money on it. But anyway, like, what I'm saying is I can't wait to see that history lesson expanded on. That ancient fight.
I agree.
Diane finding that arrow instead of it just like the Amazon shooting it and then it just cutting.
Yeah, she actually found
it. I can't wait to that, and that's where she walks into that temple and reads on the thing, which we saw in the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Reads about Darkseid, seeing Desaad. That's awesome. Like, whoa. Like, I didn't expect to see Desaad in there. I think that's awesome. Superman in the black suit officially with the cape billowing. Excellent. I can't wait.
Oh, yes.
For sure.
Mira and Arthur. Like, I can't wait to see that expanded on. We know Volko is going to be in this version. I can't wait to see that.
I feel like the Mira and Aquaman scene is the same scene, just done
kind
differently.
Of.
You know, like it's the same message and same. You're going to get that same kind of thing where they're in the air bubble, they're talking to each other, but it's going to be different dialogue, different display. I guess you're going to see different things than you would before. Like that scene must have been changed up.
In the theatrical, when Aquaman swims up to that statue and gets the armor off there, well, that was all changed because as you've seen in this version, the armor's on the ground because it was from one of those dead guards there. They have to fight in them. And that statue he swims up to is a statue of King Atlan, the one that has the trident that he eventually gets in Aquaman.
You actually see King Atlan in the preview.
That's what I was talking about earlier.
So,
yeah, like I can't wait for that. Like I can't wait for the Ancient Alliance. I can't. The history lesson is going to be like.
I agree.
We're not going to be ready. It's going to melt faces. Like we're going to think that's the climax move. We're all going to be finished and be cleaning up with tissues, and then another 2 hours later, we're going to finish again with a big fight.
Exactly.
So I have two more things I want to touch on with you guys before I have to jump off here, and it was about the Batman. And I don't know if you guys saw any of the trailers for the video games that are coming out. Also,
yes. I wanted to ask you about that.
Yes. And the reason why I bring that up is because they've essentially already made it known that the Court of the Owls are going to play a really big part in the video game series going forward. But it also seems as though the Batman is doing stuff like that too, because in the trailer, the Riddler is basically talking about how Batman's idea of justice is protecting these very rich, corrupt, powerful people. And if you know anything,
blind eye.
Yeah, right. And if you know anything about the history of Gotham, and the Court of the Owls are very much tied into that. So I'm wondering if you're seeing it in the video games. I'm wondering also if DC is kind of making an effort to kind of interweave all of their mediums kind of into one thing that they're doing in video games and the animated movies and the movies themselves. So basically, how familiar are you all with the Court of the Owls, and do you think that they will? I know that's a dumb question for the fat guy over here.
Yeah, but I better grab my comics. Yeah, but
it's one of my favorite. I haven't read too many Batman stories in my time, but I have read that. I highly recommend it, and if the movies are going to do that, I'm pumped for it.
I will say I don't think they're interweaving it all into one thing. I think the animated movies are going to do what they do. They've said that the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League movie is in the Arkham game universe, but the Gotham Knights is not. And they've had Court of Owls show up in Batman vs. Robin, which came out in like 2016, the animated movie. The Court of Owls was there, and Talon was one of the main protagonists there. So they've kind of had that going around before. You know what I'm saying? It's been a soft entrance to it. But I would love it if the Batman would introduce the Court of Owls. Like I think that would be a great idea. And if there's this one picture, I don't know if it's true or not, but you can freeze frame, and it's like where he's in the stairwell, and if you look up in the mirror, there's somebody walking around with what it looks like a white mask. Like perhaps he's walking in the middle of the Court of Owls. But I would love that if they started planning those scenes and it was in the back of all three of the movies, you know what I mean, or whatever, however they were doing. But I think that would be a fantastic idea. But since we're talking about the Batman, I will be the first to say that I was to all Pattinson, the Bat who sparkles, and I don't think this guy, this and that. But after seeing that trailer, I will fully admit that I am 100% pumped now, and I was not very excited. And after seeing that trailer and the vibe that's going for it, and hearing what Matt Reeves saying, it's like a gritty, 70s, and you can feel kind of the grime. And I like that it's year 2 because he's almost like a private detective. He's right in there with the police. And that's what I was going to say, Greg, because I don't think he's going to kill. I think maybe there might be an accident this brings forward, but they don't know that like he's never killed. Like that's never going to happen because they're not going to work with a full blown murderer, somebody they know they can pin charges on. You know what I'm saying? They're letting him walk onto a crime scene, and Gordon is actively seeking his advice, like he's a private investigator. So maybe by the end of the movie, he accidentally kills Riddler or civilian or Joe Blow or whatever. But they're not going to actively work with a murderer, somebody they could pin a murder on. Even, you know what I'm saying? That's just my theory.
I mean,
but
even though Batman's murdered in every movie he's been in, except for
sure. But I'm just saying for this particular. Okay. Well, I'm just going off what you and Travis were saying off the DC Alliance.
I got you. Yeah.
And maybe it was a listener question or whatever it was, but you know what I'm saying. Like I think it was Travis that said that maybe like that'll be the lesson at the end if it's like he murders. You know what I'm saying? Like murders. Or you okay? But like maybe that happens, but. I think beginning of the movie, he's never murdered anybody or hasn't had an accident like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I think maybe by the end of the movie something happens and we get the scenario you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think this movie establishes the no kill rule.
Okay, yeah,
I think that he does. I think that maybe in this movie he goes too far, and maybe Andy Serkis, who plays Alfred is going to talk him out of that, and that's when the no kill rule is going to be established. But I'm sorry, you can't tell me from that trailer with those sounds that is broken bones and flesh smashing against each other when he has those last two punches. Which, by the way, that guy was down.
Pattinson now.
That guy was down, and he punched him 2 more times in the face. So everybody who says, "Oh, well, Batman shouldn't have stabbed that guy in the warehouse scene whenever he was up," screw you. That's what Batman does. The Batman definition, because I did this in the first episode of Batman You Complete Me with Travis, the definition that they pitched for Batman was he is a brutal vigilante with his own form of justice. So don't tell me that was what they pitched for him to be the character. So don't tell me that he's not a violent mother effer.
Yeah.
Sorry, just saying. I'm going to have way more of that next week or 2 weeks when we talk about
Can I just say that I'm pumped that I feel like this movie is going to be Detective Batman.
Yeah,
it is.
That's why Batman, Bruce Wayne is the most incredible detective in the
I don't like bowl cut Bruce Wayne though. I will say that the hair kind of like just kind of folding over like this. I feel like it's almost bowl cut Bruce Wayne. I'm not a fan of that.
Slick back, but you kind of see him where he's like a little more disheveled.
Spider-Man 3 Bruce.
But Nathan, if you want to like Robert Pattinson even more, go on YouTube and look up all the video clips of them interviewing him about Twilight and him just shitting all over the movie. Like Robert Pattinson hated Twilight almost more than anyone.
Yeah. Well, he had never read it. He knew nothing about it.
Yeah,
he knew nothing about it when he got that part. I mean, it was because of Kristen Stewart, so he knew nothing about it. He was just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, his whore ex-girlfriend. Wait, what?
I wasn't down on the casting. I knew that.
I like
respected.
I like the normalizing the raccoon eyes.
Yeah, especially if you're Batman. Why not, right? And my last question for you guys, and then I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here for the night, guys. But my last question: is there any chance that this Batman ties in with the Joker?
I'll take this. No, I don't think so.
Wait, but hold on. Before you answer, Sarah immediately started shaking her head no. Mm-hmm. So why did you say no, Sarah?
I just don't feel like it's in the same. I just don't feel like it would fit together.
Mm-hmm. What's his name?
Yeah, because
Hamada said that the Batman's in its own universe. They would have said that it was. They would have said it was in the Gotham that the Joker established. If it was, Hamada specifically said the Batman is in its own universe established by Matt Reeves.
And here's what I think of that thought. Like, I think that it some way could tie into the Joker, but the only way it's going to tie into the Joker is because the way the Joker ended, they leave the idea that the Joker is a sickness, not a person. So maybe that sickness has traveled into whatever the Joker is going to be in this universe.
I think they let the Joker be its own little bow tie. You know? Be its own beautiful little package.
I don't think I would like that.
I don't think I would like it either, but that's the only way I can see it happening. I don't think it should, though. I don't think it will.
Let me throw this out there. This is a discussion that Brian and I had because, we were talking about that too. With the Joker, it's like he goes through, and he's not really like the Joker per se, what you would think, like Batman versus Joker, that kind of thing. So maybe he kind of is the inspiration for the one that will become the Joker that finally will face that Pattinson's Batman. You see what I'm saying? Because the timeline, because it's just not going to equal up. Because by the time Bruce Wayne and the Joker, he's a what? The hell, like a 9-10-year-old kid. So I mean, obviously that the age is not going to work there.
So the Batman's in the 90s.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like the Joker, Joaquin Joker, that Joker unto himself could be the inspiration for the subsequent Joker that would face Batman.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
So wait, hold on. You're saying that the Batman takes place in the 90s?
It does.
But I'm pretty sure Matt Reeves takes place in the early 90s.
Because in the trailer, you see them using smartphones.
I thought the same thing, but I swore that he said it was because that guy with the thing held up, like it looked like a smartphone. Because that's what and I've seen people online say the same thing.
Yeah,
I swore that he said it was like the early 90s is when this takes place.
Everybody had their risers.
I was going to say, is there any kind of device that
in the 90s they were playing Snake on it,
Okay, so this is actually my last question. And forgive me for being that noob that just doesn't know. Sure. But how are they going to balance like all these different? So this Batman is not the same Batman from the Justice League. Mm-hmm. So like, how are they going to just juggle having all these different timelines and Batman?
Multiverse.
Same way they have 27 different Batman comics right now in the DC.
So
they're treating their audience like they're smart. Mm-hmm. They're treating you smart enough to know that Robert Pattinson's Batman isn't the one that goes with the Justice League that's Ben Affleck's.
That's all.
And then Michael Keaton's not Robert Pattinson. You know what I mean? They're just seriously like they're just finally going to start to trust their audience and hope like people are smart enough to go, hey, look, these guys, like they're obviously different, so like they're different. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the Flash movie is really going to hammer that.
And the Flash too. The Flash is going to kick that door down too, especially having Ben and Keaton. And if we can get them both in the suit, looking at each other, that's all you need is one scene of Keaton suited up, looking at pointing at his nose, looking at Ben Affleck's nose like this. Boom. That's all you need is one right there. People's heads fucking explode. The movie theaters is filled with brains and blood because everybody's head exploded, and semen because they finished at the same time, and they just couldn't believe what they saw. So, like, I think that's all you need, and then people will be like, "What?" Because they're not gonna obviously think that Michael Keaton's old, but you know what I mean? Like that right there will be enough people to go.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Cody, I had one question for you, and I think you probably covered most of the stuff we were going to talk about anyway. I have one question for you. Cripple Connection, are you guys going to cover Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad kills the Justice League? Because I know you're a big gaming show. And,
absolutely. We're definitely gonna cover all of that. We do full spoiler reviews. We talk about gameplay. We talk about the story. Okay. We do it all. We'll do an episode.
For that Gotham Knights.
Yeah, man.
I want to check that out for sure.
And I'm really interested about Suicide Squad because
that's 2 years away though.
Yeah, but having to kill the Justice League, it seems as though Brainiac is kind of taking over everyone, and I love it when they do the role reversal where you're playing the bad guys and now you're trying to fight the good guys. Yeah, I think that's pretty dope.
Well, they've got the Squad Trinity, and basically who they're trying to make their fourth one. Like if the Suicide Squad had the Turtles, like that's who the cast is. Deadshot, Boomerang, and Harley are like the Suicide Squad Trinity.
Shark.
Right.
And King Shark here lately, since they've given him the redesign of being kind of like the funny shark, and like he's kind of like the big scary comedic relief. Like he's become more of a staple in the squad. So I almost feel like they're making their Ninja Turtles with these four characters, and that's who you get to play as is these four characters. You know what I mean? Like that's your four.
Yeah. I'm pumped for it. I'm pumped for Gotham Knights.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like you can upgrade your suits and shit. Like,
well, part of it is
look more Batman like.
I fucking love the Red Hood. And the Red Hood is just so dope.
I can't wait for him to rubber bullet people in the face.
Yeah, and he looks like he's a brutal attacker in this game. So, yeah, I'm pumped.
I fucking hate that barber suit that looks like the person put together with real boots and stuff. Like I'm gonna arc. The one with the girl, the costume where it's like she's got like just regular construction boots on and like the zip up thing and the snap fucking cape. and just like the weird bad. Oh God, yuck! I'll karate take that suit
any
off.
barber you give me.
No. But I'm glad. But I did see a picture come out, and like she's up here because at first she starts off with just like the coon eyes thing, the domino mask, and then like. But I did see a picture come out where she's got full on Batman cowl, and like it's all back. Like she looks like not armor, but she looks more like Batman, but like it's back. Oh, it looks cool. Like I'm betting you gotta build her tree up or whatever to get that armor and stuff. But dude, it looks cool. So if you can build her up to get to that, hell yeah.
Her tree.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you meant, but
there's skill tree. You know what I mean? The skill
great
tree.
way to describe it. Yes, skill.
I did want to highlight one of your comments in the chat. Legendary Bearded he says, "I love how there are fan theories for Gotham Knights already. Like Bruce isn't dead.
Yeah,
and he was just taken to be controlled by the Talon. Yeah, everyone knows Bruce isn't dead. More than likely, not only is he not dead." Not only is he not dead, but he's going to be playable. In my opinion.
Yeah.
And
I think Bruce is the bad guy. I think he's brainwashed or something. He's a bad guy.
I think he faked his death in order to infiltrate the Court of the Owls. That's
good call.
I like that theory better than him being brainwashed, because brainwashed is a straight Dark Apocalypse or Apocalypse Dark War theory. Like I don't like the brainwash thing, and we know Batman would beat the brainwash thing. I like the idea.
Talia got even Batman Bad Blood, remember?
For a little while, but they're Bad Blood.
Sure.
Was like, what, like
I didn't say that he's going to be brainwashed the whole game.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't know. I just think there's going to be some twist with Bruce where you're like, oh no, like now we got to face Bruce or something, you know?
Might be. Yeah.
Kind of like in Arkham Knight where it was like, oh my God, Arkham Knight is,
Yeah. Well, look, y'all. We're at 2 minutes and 2 minutes, 2 hours.
We're 2 minutes
in. Yeah. Y'all got anything else y'all want to say about fandom? We've harped on it. I know Nathan, you want to.
I wish I was more excited for Suicide Squad, but it just looks like James Gunn doing James Gunn things with characters, and I know people love that. And like
fun,
I really love the first Guardians of the Galaxy. The second one, I'm not so much of a huge fan with.
Right there with
I personally liked Suicide Squad, the David Ayer version. I'm very trepidatious about James Gunn and just him going in there and just being all silly wacky, just to have it be like that, just because like a couple of yucks out there,
I can say the cast looked like they were having a really good time, which is a really good sign.
Sure.
When, happy employees are productive employees. So when you have happy actors in a movie, that means they're having a good time acting, and it's probably going to be a better show.
I get it. I'm hoping I see this movie and I go, it's my favorite Gunn movie ever. Like I'm hoping like it blows my stack.
And look, give it to James too. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy were like a C-level
absolutely
character.
Easy.
Absolutely.
Maybe
now
D.
Yeah, now you can go up to just about anyone and say, "Hey, do you know the Guardians of the Galaxy?" And dude, that's a testament to.
Absolutely, you're right.
Yeah, for sure. So
and see, you made that point right there. That's my point. This is totally off topic, but I've argued this on Twitter for a long time. The Guardians of the Galaxy were CD level heroes that they made into a heroes. Total credit. Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, all the original Avengers were not C-level characters. They were the original Avengers, the ones Marvel started out with. They like that is their thing. They were not C-level characters. My mom can tell you she knows who Hulk is. She knows who Captain America is. She knows who Iron Man is, and she's never read a comic. So they are not C-level characters. Guardians of the Galaxy, yes, they are.
I would give Captain America, Hulk, and Thor A level.
B minus at the best.
Yeah, I would say
probably B to A level characters.
Yeah, I would say B for Iron Man. Yeah. Tony Stark, Spider-Man
A level.
The movie with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like that did so much to reinvent the rock star status of Iron Man.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like for sure, but. Yeah, but before those movies...
Before that, it was like the biggest thing that happened was like they made Tony into a drunk in the comics, and people were like, "Oh my God, this story's so real!" And then like you know what I mean? Like
comic is amazing. Go watch that Extremist stop motion comic where they make him a drunk. Amazing, I love it. Love it.
Cool.
Yep. But
Sorry, I was just saying.
Look, Travis in the chat.
But
trash.
T-boner.
Talking trash about what I'm saying.
Jordan's the GOAT. We know. Yeah. We know, Travis. Jordan's the
GOAT. Travis says they were under the characters they were sold the time. Doesn't matter. People who don't read comics know who Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, and Captain America are. That is not
Travis, go to bed.
Automatically makes them not C-level characters if somebody who's never read a comic knows who they are. Sorry, that's the standard. Otherwise,
I'd put Iron Man a B. I'd put Iron Man a B, bruh.
Even the B bracket's fine, but I can't stand people saying they're CD characters that Marvel Studios brought these amazing
Brent
characters.
listens to this, Brent's gonna come knocking on your DMs.
Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, and Thor were. Even if you've never read a comic, you've heard those characters.
Like Sarah, she's
of those characters.
Yeah,
they're not CD level characters.
If you want to say that about the Guardians
and Green Lantern and Doctor Strange are the same goddamn movie.
Same movie.
Wait, what was that last part?
Captain America and Doctor Strange and Green Lantern are the exact same movie. I did a whole 2-hour podcast where I stood by myself and defended that. Cody, it's going to come out real soon. Go check it out because it's true. And I will convince you. I promise you. Exact same movie. Exact same movie. But y'all, it's getting late, man. It's 2 hours.
Yeah, let's bounce.
Let's go ahead and start signing out because
gross.
Yeah, I got to get up and work in the morning. Nathan, where can they find you at, buddy?
You can find me kicking around the Twitterverse at WobblyBoots85. And you can hear me on Star Wars Alliance every other week, Thursday, the sexiest of weeklies, bi-weekly with Katie, and as we talk about everything that happenings in the galaxy far, far away.
I thought you were going to end it with just Wobbly Boots, and I was going to get mad because you can't get mad at me for not mentioning Star Wars Alliance if you don't mention it yourself. So there you go.
I got this.
There you go.
I got this. I'm the forgotten member of the Geek Ultimate Alliance.
But not on the Super Civil Service.
It's okay.
You're the co-founder.
It's okay. That's all right.
So you'll
it's all right, guys.
That's all right.
It's all right.
Sarah, where can they find you at?
I'll cry myself to sleep.
You can find me on Twitter at MyLadyKitten, and then obviously here on the SCS podcast, which I'm super excited to be a part of. And sometimes you can find me in that one little Panther podcast, the C3 Panthers podcast, which I've kind of been slack lately. Sorry, guys, but normally you can find me in there saying hey to everybody. So
look, Sarah. Cody Lashney was the YouTube champ. Him and I used to both just listen to the show. He was the YouTube champ. I would follow him. Him and I are both now on the show. You now are the YouTube queen of the C3 Panthers podcast. I feel. I feel.
And we have the powers to do that.
That's right.
Because
we crown you.
Yeah, we pass it down to you.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, seriously.
I try to keep the chat and keep everybody going. It's like, come on,
That's right. That's right.
Does Travis know the news? Hey, does Travis know the news?
Travis
Did he say anything?
He texted me and asked me if we talked about it, so he definitely knows the news. Yeah. Cody, where can they find you at, brother?
They can find me on Twitter at CodyLac, CodyLac. Tune in tomorrow at 4 o'clock for another edition of the Cripple Connection podcast on YouTube, where me and my man Jeffrey discuss the video game industry. Gamescom just went on, so there's been a bunch of new trailers that dropped. But we talk about everything that goes on in the video game industry from the perspective of two handicapped dudes that play a shitload of video games. So, yeah, man, Cripple Connection on YouTube. And that's it for me. Thanks for having me back on, guys.
Brother, you're always welcome, man.
Always welcome.
Yeah, you're great.
Good conversation.
Love chatting with you, Cody.
Yeah, you fit right in, brother.
Right, except for, when you start not liking our DCs. No, I'm just kidding. You fit right in, bro.
Marvel number one.
Be nice.
He talked to Chris and Travis about that. Now, you can find me at the Bad Daddy 52 on Twitter. It's my personal handle. I'll answer just about any question you have, as long as you don't get aggressive about it. It's fun to talk, and I love debates. Check me out Tuesdays on DC Alliance Podcast, Fridays on Superhero Discussions, and then Tuesday evenings on the C3 Panthers Podcast. This show is going to be on Saturdays coming up soon, live Fridays, but drop the audio on Saturdays. Man, you can find me any of those places. There's a lot of places to communicate with me, and I like to talk. So check me out. But until next week, Normally I sign out with Keep Pounding, but this week I'm going to sign out with Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
So,
Wakanda Forever.
I'll see y'all next week. Wakanda Forever, and have a great evening, y'all.
Peace and love.
All right, in stream.
Turn it off.
Good